Oh, yes, it is. Absolutely it is. Has been for a long time. We just decided to take them up on it. And, well, gosh darn if we didn't win. Amazing that when you finally get yourself into gear. Just waiting for Tony to show up on the board here, or if I have to bring him into the call with me. And, of course, this is an open mic night, and hoping that Michael McCracken will be joining us as well. And, of course, all are welcome at this table. Shills and trolls especially, because I'm kind of feeling snackish tonight, and I wouldn't mind chewing on a few. Just for fun, just for shits and giggles, because tonight's episode is going to be called Fuck the Romans. There you go. Anyway, for those that aren't familiar with Outside the Box, you probably had your ears cleaned out with that, but that's okay. This is the way we roll. And there's Tony. Tony, how are you?
Not too bad, Kate. Not too bad at all. Yeah, same as. Busy doing the same thing to the Romans. It's great.
Oh, you're funny. You're cute. Oh, my God. Yeah, but it's true, though, you know. And for most people that don't understand that word, it actually is an ancient word for love of that nature. It has a very, very distinct thing about it. That's why they turned it into a curse word, and they made everybody feel so uncomfortable when they say love in a more phonetically accurate way. So, anyway, yeah, we had quite a little show this afternoon on criticalmassradio.co.uk, which we do every Tuesday, which of course is 6 to 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time over in the UK, and 1 to 3 p.m. here in Eastern Standard. For those that need any other references, well, there you go. You got the Greenwich Mean Time and the Eastern Standard. Do the math from there, and you'll figure out when we're on. And I'm usually pretty good about posting shows exactly when they need to be posted, so they're done in real time. And basically because I generally run out of time to get everything else done, and it's just last minute to get things done. But it was quite a fun and insightful show this afternoon. As when I posted the link, I got into a zone today, which is what I really like to do, and just roll with those zones, right? So. Looks like my mouse is having a bit of fun here. So, for those that do wish to call in, you can Skype in at on the page that you're listening to. All you have to do, and don't worry, you won't miss much. You only miss a few seconds, but you'll have to refresh your page if the Skype button isn't there. And as soon as you refresh it, you can call in direct with Skype, and of course, it'll reroute from what you're listening to being live on the air with us. And of course, you can call in manually on the landline, which many people do, at area codes 661-467-2401. That's 661-467-2401. And if I could get my mouse to work here, I'd open up Carol's line just to get her to say hello. And that way I know that if we have any hack issues, which they're kind of not wasting their time on that anymore, because we're just seeing it as victory anyway, and it's a lot of fun. So there you have it. All right, Carol, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine, honey. I'm glad to hear you on the call tonight. I'm looking forward to a robust call. I can feel the energy in your voice. Hi, Tony.
Oh. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, Carol.
How you doing there, sweetheart?
Not too bad, not too bad. I had a couple of breakthroughs today, quite big breakthroughs, but we'll get to those later.
Yeah, actually, Tony was downtown London, and he took a brick through the front of Barclays. Is that the breakthrough you're talking about? No? Different one? Okay, never mind. Just checking to make sure, you know, I'm just being hopeful here as well. Our Tony.
Damage isn't on the list.
No, I know, eh? Oh, my goodness.
I think that's collateral damage, isn't it?
Well, that's, I don't know, that sounds like fun to me personally, but that's okay, that's just me. But where was I going to go? Let me see. Where are we going to start? I just had a chat with Lisa, actually. Hello, Lisa. How are you? Finally, don't get an opportunity to talk to her very much. Lisa, by the way, is the one that does our lovely disclaimer and the other ads for Critical Mass Radio, and did a beautiful piece of work with reading Prometheus Bled. I've got to get that uploaded so that I can air it for everyone. It was nicely done, Lisa, so thank you for that. And, of course, that's the Lisa from, you know, criticalmassradio.co.uk, Paul, Lisa, and the crew, you know. And, of course, we're very grateful to have this platform every night. And, well, you know, it'd be very difficult if I didn't have it, because I have this incessant need to not shut up anymore like I ever did before, but that's the way it flies.
Can I say something to Lisa?
Absolutely.
Lisa, this is Carol in California. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, you and your husband, for making our calls possible. You have no idea what a blessing in my life these calls are. I love Kate and Tony, and it's nice to have you join us.
Well, I should mention that Paul and Lisa aren't married. They're just working together, but that's okay. You know, that's we're all kind of married in a sense anyway.
Thank you for that clarification. I'm sorry.
I knew you were going to say that, because I sent that vibe out when I was saying it. I hope people don't think that, you know, and then of course there it is. So don't think that the Akashic doesn't instantly upload. It does. I knew that was going to happen. Oh my God. Anyway, it's all good. You just made Lisa really, really giggle a lot, and probably Paul as well. So it's good. Anyway, anything else, hon?
No, honey, I just wanted to get that in if she's on live, so she can hear gratitude for all that they're doing for us.
Oh, absolutely.
She says, thanks for that, Carol. That's great. Lovely.
Oh, thank you guys for letting me do that. Back to you there, Kate.
Anytime. And you know, Carol, you are acting co-host backup here for anything that happens, and that's why I greatly appreciate having you there, because at least I know there won't be any of that yucky dead air stuff that seems to happen a lot. And I did mention today on the afternoon show, excuse me, for those that were wanting to download the episode of Sunday morning, noon till 2 p.m. Sunday here, Eastern Standard, with Urban Radio. I did a show with Janice Porcello, and as it turns out, the only thing that got recorded during the whole episode were the commercials. Everything else was blank. So, no, they weren't afraid of that show at all. But anyway, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I do want to do some shout-outs tonight. I like to, get it personal once in a while so people know that I am paying attention to them. People like Otis and Vincent and Tracy and Lisa and there's a few of you, so don't think it's just the one. It's not. There's many. There's not many. It's not like your name's common or anything. Well, it's not like Kate's common either, right? But you know what I'm saying. And of course, beautiful post today from Aaron. Thank you so much. Just incredible. The energy that I'm seeing pouring forth right now is exactly the energy that I'm speaking of. And this is how I know that the energies are high and the vibrations are rising. And as a net result, collectively, what you and I and the rest of us are doing in this vibrational zone is we're forcing a higher frequency. And what happens is when we pull the frequency up towards the light, remember that light is only a higher frequency of sound. And the higher we vibrate, the closer to our own light we get to. And as a net result of that, we create what's called a vacuum below us. Nature abhors a vacuum. It will fill it in, and guess what it fills it in with? All those other people that suddenly come up to you after you've told them so many times of what's going on, and they've told you you're full of shite, and they're coming up and saying, oh gosh, you were right, I want to learn more. That's the net effect that you're having. And you need to see this. This is not hocus pocus. It is magic, but you need to see this in your own reality. You need to see the difference that you make, and you make it on a second-by-second basis. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so abhorrent against anything of the fear-porn nature, and will only tolerate it with a solution beyond it to show what it actually is. And the more that nonsense ramps up is only mirror proof that we are rising to such a high frequency. Hey, it has to be reflected. And evil, by definition, will and must destroy itself. We're just driving bulldozers now to take care of it. And I need you to know who and what you are, that you are the most powerful entity in the universe because you are Creator Universe in and of yourself, collectively and individually, okay? And I cannot stress this enough. And yes, there are many levels that people might think that you have to be at and go through. No, I'll tell you this right now. You, like myself, are exactly at the level you are supposed to be at right now. There is no judgment in it. There cannot be any judgment. Judge not lest ye be judged. So don't look at someone and say, well, blah, 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 and claim. See, this is one thing that's been driving me batty, especially in one of the Skype rooms. When people walk around, and they decide that they're going to make a claim of some kind, as if they know something, all that is to me is pure ego. Pure, unadulterated, off-the-leash, pit bull ego. I'll show you when I know there is no ego is when people are asking questions, and that's all I like to do. I like to be a neutral observer, and I take my time and I breathe. And there are nights, and Lisa and I were having a little chuckle about this, and of course, you guys have heard me. You've heard me go off. And as I explained to Lisa, there's no intention behind it when I do go off. All I'm doing is presenting the drama that people obviously need at that particular moment. And then I'll shift back into my little peaceful gear and move on from there. And it seems to work, but it also shows the humanity in all of us. So again, judge not lest you be judged. Maintain the neutral ground, will you please? Don't let things get under your skin so easily. And that's why I invite any and all shills to show up on this show, because I just sharpened the chainsaw. And, oh, hey, Tony, did you bring that purple unicorn with the vibrator tonight, or do I have to go and get it out of the car?
Yeah, I've never equipped myself with one of those, so I'm afraid you're on your own. All
right, I'll have to go down to the trunk. No worries. Anyway, and we do have someone calling in here, so of course you know the rules with me. You call, you're on. All right, area code 412. What's on your mind tonight?
Hello, Kate.
Hey, how are you doing? Hello,
I'm good.
Pittsburgh.
This is Claudie.
I know who it is.
I do have a request.
Okay.
I want you to know that every day I am grateful that you're here, and I hear and I know that you give so much of yourself and so much to all of us who listen to you, to what you talk about, and I have grown so much from listening to you, and I understand a lot more than I thought I did. And I'd like to make a request from you. I am an artist. I do collage, and I'd like to give something to you, since you give so much to me. I feel that it's a need. I need to give something to Kate and his crew and everybody and everyone who listens to her, something that I know that you would appreciate. So if you'd like to, you could Google me on Claudie Collage, and you'll see my work. And I would appreciate if you let me know what you think. It's important to me.
Absolutely, hon. Actually,
anytime, whenever you want, whenever you can, you could look it up, Claudie Collage, and you'll see what I do, and let me know what you think. And if you'd like, I would love to make one for you.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to need you to sigil that for me, just to make sure I get the right Google. So here I'll search for it right now. And by the way, go ahead, spell her out for me.
Claudie.
D-I-E. Okay, as soon as my computer decides to start working. 1 second, huh? Oh yeah. This is so much fun.
Collage.
Oh, here we go. 1 sec. Laudie. Collage. Collage.
Yes.
I would have got it right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. All right. Zinging for it now, hon.
Yes. Let me know what you think whenever. It doesn't have to be now. I mean, I know you're busy. I do have another question.
Sure.
Did someone do your design chart, or are you learning design?
Which do you mean, hon?
Human design.
Oh, human. Yeah, you can actually go to humandesignamerica.com and just put in.
I do design. I've been learning design since 1996.
Oh,
I
okay.
am design.
Oh, okay. So all right. So you're part of that then. Okay, very cool.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
I wanted to know.
a manifesting generator. What are the odds?
You are a manifested generator. So what is your profile? 1, 2, 1, 3?
I'm I think it's 4-2 or actually it might be 6-2, 4-2 or 6-2. I'm the one that goes through these really, steady steps, get to the height and then drop, and then steady step, height, drop, that kind of, and it's very, very, very true with me as far as, epiphany, big epiphany, boom. Oh, I feel so bad and low, and then I have to, rebuild, right? So it's a constant cycle of building. Yes.
I have a feeling you may be a 2-6 or a 4-6, but I think there's a 6 in your profile because you sound like one.
Yeah, it probably is 2-6. I'd have to pull it back up again. I can toss the information if you want.
I'm a projector.
Oh, are you?
I'm a projector. Yeah, 1-3.
Oh, how many? Then I will ask for your services.
Oh no, I'm only a student. I've been learning design.
No. Hey, a projector must wait for an invitation. Yes.
Yes, I know.
I just gave you an open invitation.
Oh.
Generate and manifest at your heart's desire. There is another projector that I know by the name of Sandy who knows full well what that means because she does it all the time. You have a manifesting generator powering you up. So whatever I'm inviting you now.
Okay. Well, invite me to do your collage for you.
I invite you. Okay. There you go. Right now, Claudia, there are a lot of people going, "What the hell are they talking about?" Well, I've done lots of shows on human design. Going back to my TNS days, but I did many weeks of Human Design America, breaking it down, lots of different guests and regarding that as well. So definitely something.
I study. Yeah, I study with Roth when he was teaching in
very good.
Arizona. Yeah.
You're also in contact with another load of people that are going to all of this with, where is it? Crikey. Caribbean. There's Dave out there in the Caribbean.
Yes.
I just wondered.
What is it about Caribbean?
I was saying somebody else who does human design is out in the Caribbean. He's working.
Really?
Yeah. We're connected. Let's just put it that way.
Oh well, I do want to ask Tony something. Tony, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you something about quartz crystals.
Yeah.
I understand crystals can only be charged with positive energy. That's what I learned. I need your confirmation on that. If you do anything negative with a crystal, it's gonna shatter. It's gonna bust open everything. So it's not something to play with. That's been my understanding from since I was very young. So
right.
Can you confirm that?
Unfortunately, no, I can't confirm that because, as I say, one of the most important things you need to do with crystals is, one, realize what they are. They're actually life forms. They are living entities. There's no other word for it. It's like trying to pretend the Earth isn't a living being, or one of your cells isn't a being because it happens to be in your arm and it's not you. It's like trying to pretend that bacteria don't exist and stuff. It's just stupid. But anyway, so yes, you should always cleanse crystals. Now, one of the reasons you should always cleanse them is to get off any negative vibrations. If there were no such negative vibrations associated with crystals, you wouldn't need to cleanse them, would you? So it's not quite right, but it's an interesting point.
Well, what I'm trying to think, it's like when we talk about Atlantis, weren't they using some kind of crystal?
Oh yes, specifically Merkaba crystals, which there's a lot of information towards this, but certain Brazilian quartz crystals vibrate at the same resonant frequency, or very close to the same resonant frequency as gold and water. And of course we're bags of water, so we're all tuned in. One of the most tuned in crystals for a human being is Brazilian quartz. But as I say, there's a whole blooming load of information on that. But yeah, the Brazilian crystal is the one I would go with. And if you want to actually wear one of these, I would wear a Merkaba crystal around your neck, because that represents the same energy field.
Thank you so much. I really love you guys. You are very beautiful. I can hear you, feel you, see you, the works. So I'm not going to stay too long. I'll just hold on and listen to your talks. But thank you for the invitation, Kate.
Most welcome, hon.
Claudie, this
Yes?
is Carol. I want to let you know Hi, honey. I was on your site, and your use of color is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful.
Oh,
I love your work. Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's so inspired. Gosh, the way you balance the colors and the vibration of the colors really just sings to the heart. You know, it's so pretty. And you're a beautiful little lady, too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol. You are beautiful, very close to my heart. I hear you. I listen to all of you, and it's like I'm right there with you all the time. It means a lot to me, you know, because I like to be with myself, so I'm mostly with myself, with no one around. But it's very nice to feel connected to beautiful, beautiful angels. Thank you.
Well, it's nice to have you connected with us, too. Now we know a little bit more about you when we hear you on the phone. Thank you so much for the gift, honey. Have a beautiful evening.
If you have anything, any pictures or anything that you'd like to make into a collage, just let me know.
Oh, thank you so much. God bless you, sweetheart.
Thank you, Carol. God bless you, too. Hi, Kate.
Hey, I'm just waiting for you guys. This is great. Yeah, I've got the page open. I can only see part of one, but I'm going to figure out how the rest of this page works. It's on the WordPress one, but yes, stunning colors indeed.
Yeah, it's the page is incomplete. I never really finished the website or done anything with it. I just keep doing my collage. I never promote them or anything like that. There's nothing there for sale. So it's individually, if you, Tony or Carol or anyone would like, have some pictures laying around, because I know sometimes we have boxes full of pictures and nowhere to put them. So I suggest we do collage.
There you go. Well, right now, all the pictures I have are in a storage unit right now, so a little bit difficult to get at as it is. But no worries. We'll get it all figured out. All good. Yeah. We're like I said, I've got a system to take down first, so I've got a couple more days' work left here.
Yeah.
But we're going to bring it down. But honestly, hon, thank you so much. Your message is loud and clear.
Thank you. I appreciate.
So much obliged there.
Hi, Kate.
Okay, kiddo. So, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I was just saying cheers, Claudia.
See what? I didn't hear.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's a thank you in
Tony.
UK words.
Thank you.
There you go. You're getting international. Gotta love that, eh?
Wow.
There you go.
It's overwhelming. Thank you.
No worries. So we're gonna get back into the fray here, hun, and it's time to do a little Roman damage. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Well,
always.
All right. Well, here we go. So I'll slip you back on hold there, and thank you so much, Claudia.
Put me on mute. Yes, put me on mute. I'll listen. I'll just listen.
No worries,
because then otherwise I'll have to wait for tomorrow to listen to the tape for the recording for today. But if I see on the line, then I could hear and get a preview of what's going on.
No worries, kiddo. All right, so I'll put you back on hold, and we'll get it wide open, and let's have some fun. Here we go. I much love you, kiddo. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
All right. You know, how do you top that, you know? A lot of times you're left speechless. But I'll tell you, the effects, this is what we're after. We can be one of two things. We can be at cause over things or at effect from things. And what many of us have been for most of our lives, if not all, we've been at effect to a very causal, harming system that has had us pinned down and duped and looking in all the wrong places for all the wrong answers. They had us looking everywhere but where we needed to be looking, and the answers have always been and always will be within you. I got to tell you, I watched, and I highly recommend this. Let's just say every video that this guy does, you need to watch. But there are some that really just stand out. 1 with energy, 2 with information, and 3 with passion. And the Bill Donahue has a video called 7 Brothers. And let me see, I'll grab if you go to YouTube, of course, Bill's got all his stuff up there. I've watched hundreds of his videos. But it's, I believe, 20B, 7 Brothers. And if you type brothers in YouTube for search, the E in brothers is not there, so it's BROTHRS. No worries, but highly recommend that. And if you have anyone that is even remotely involved in any religiocosis chosenitis garbage, send that link along to them and dare them that they can't watch it to the end. You might want to do that because a lot of times the information that he shares is so intensely perfect. Those that are mostly and highly duped and trapped within their own religiocosis chosenitis egos won't even look at it. As soon as something goes against that program that has them so terrified with fear and guilt, the reptilian brainstem kicks into gear, and of course the adrenal glands and what have you energize that body into a state of panic, and they cannot look any further. And that's the intensity of the program that has been thrust upon all of humanity. And we went into a lot of different things today, hey Tony?
Yeah, including the depth and the skill that's gone into the power of magic that's been controlling all of us. The mind control. It's awesome.
Oh, it is. It's if you can't look at it and admire it for the perfection of delivery. Well, I can't say perfection because we finally saw through it. So it can't be that perfect. But I'll tell you, the trap was ingenious. It was designed and is designed for us to enslave and entrap ourselves. And I keep going back to the Chinese finger trap as the best physical representation of this trap, because the harder we struggle to get out of it, the tighter it holds us. And really what this is about doing now is shutting up, getting silent, getting in the dark of dark, closing your eyes, and stop thinking. There's a lot of things I can go into. I'm going to do a bit more codifying so that I can convey the message a lot clearer. But as all are aware, even the Kabbalion and the Hermetic teachings will tell you that there is good and evil in everything. That includes the Kabbalion. You see, most people won't even look at something from a dualistic viewpoint. They will look at it from dualistic and thinking that it is good or evil. I, on the other hand, choose to look at it from both perspectives. And I've said it before, in order to catch a serial killer, one must think like one. Not necessarily act like one, but one must get into that headspace in order to understand the enemy. And I say that in a most loving way, because if you understand English a little better, the word enemy is a derivative of a prefix of E, nemesis. E as a prefix means no, and nemesis, of course, is vengeance. So when they say love thine enemies, what they're saying is this: love thine no vengeances. And for some that have never heard me tell them that before, that might come as a bit of a shock. But every word, W-H-I-R-R-E-D, is a direct and complete mirror of itself in both directions. There's only one thing that will separate the good from the evil in a word, and that word is intent. What is your intent on how you're using it? And most of us have been duped into thinking that we were giving the right intent, but we never understood that each word is its own mirror. But of course, the magistrates know this, so they can assume whatever they want and presume whatever they want because you don't know what you're saying, because you're Babylon. Right? You just babble on, babble on. And they'll hold you in contempt because, one, if you're there, you certainly don't know who you are. Most assuredly, you don't know who you are. And the only ones that I will offer up anything to in that regard of doing that are the ones that are specifically built for shredding courts, because they're not in there with vengeance. They're in there with exposure in mind, to rout them out and to educate those inside. And there are some that are very skillful in knowing how to do it because they know who they are. So it's quite a difference. Again, it boils down to one word. The intent is entirely different. So if you are a belligerent and you want to go in and fight a parking ticket because somebody pissed you off by putting a $20 or $30 parking ticket or a 20 quid or whatever the case may be on your car, well, I'm going to suggest to you right now, you don't know who you are, and you better just shut up, suck it up, and pay the bill. Or you're going to open up a can of worms in your ass. You see, because you're under contract. Well, how am I under contract, Kate? Well, you're under contract very simply by the application you put in using a fraudulent document that was never yours, yet Mom and Dad convinced you it was. Birth certificate. Didn't think we were going to go here, but I thought we'll just follow this path and see where it leads. So that silly little ticket that you got is because you still don't know who you are. It only deserves to be tossed in the garbage, as far as I'm concerned. Not that it would care to me anyway. I just no time for it. Plus, it's not in my universe anyway. Again, I manifest my own universe, and I invite only into my universe what I choose. And I leave all the fear and the fear porn that people love to pour out with them. But what if? But yeah, look at your fear. Look at your fear. Can you taste it? I can. I can smell it from here. And I'm talking very, very figuratively. I deal with used to, dealt with a lot of people that are extremely fearful, and they love to mock up all these scenarios before scenarios actually happen, and lo and behold, the scenarios do happen. That's why I do not let anyone into my universe with fear porn. And I make it very clear that if they are attempting to do so, I ask them, is it your willful intent to harm me? And of course they'll say no, and I say, well, why are you trying to create universes around me like that I am certainly not going to agree with? Don't be planting garbage seeds in my universe. Don't be shitting on my canvas. My canvas is quite clean, it's quite original, it's quite mine, and I won't do that to yours. And for those of you that are in the call right now, you hear of your own free will choice, your own free will consent. In as much as you, if you carry ID, I'm going to be very general here, all right? So do not be thinking that this is a judgment. No, this is an observation. So take your little egos and put them in check tonight, please. Thank you. I'm going to state facts for you. How you deal with these facts is your business. I dealt with mine. You see, I have this thing with truth that once I find it, I must, at all costs, stand in it, regardless of the cost, and it has cost me dearly. But it has also given me priceless artifacts of knowledge as a net result. So really, there was no loss or gain. It was merely a transference of energy from one form to another. Okay? Here's the proof for you. If you're carrying government ID, you are saying to everyone that you do not know who you are. Because you need that identification somehow to operate in the horror of Babylon commerce land that we live in here. And yes, it is mighty difficult to operate and survive without it. No question. I've been doing it for over 2 years. Without question. Yeah, this is not an easy road. This is why so few of us will take it. But here's the good news, everybody. Not everyone has to. You see, because this is my puzzle piece. This was my piece of the game to take care of for you. You have your piece to take care of for me. I don't know what it is. You do. But you see, I've got a piece of the puzzle, and I've put it on the table. I'm just waiting for others to find their pieces to match them up and put them in place where they need to be with the rest of us. If you carry a driver's license, and you offer it up to a cop when they ask or demand it, right? They always, well, I need to see, okay, yeah, and I need to pee. That's your point, all right? If they ask you for identification, of course you're under extreme duress, and of course you're dealing with a Manchurian programmed drone robot cop usually, and they're armed. They're very dangerous individuals. Pay close attention to that. Best not to rile these puppies up. They're very growly, very nasty, very egotistical and self-serving. And I'm being very accurate. I've seen too many YouTube videos. Sorry, and they're not all the same cop. And there are thousands upon thousands of them now. So they are showing themselves for what they really are. Low-level drones, easily programmed with trigger words like sovereign, freeman on the land, sovereign citizen, you name it. You give them any one of these trigger words and they go into a frenzy, much like, you know, throwing blood in the water with sharks. So if you hand over a cop your license, registration, insurance, or whatever the hell he's begging for so he can get his treats when he gets back to his master, you're already under contract. So don't even think, free man, that you're going to turn around and say, I do not wish to contract with you today, officer. Let me tell you, moron, you already did. You've got a driver's license. What do you think it is? It's a contract, and it's something you did in fraud. You didn't know it, but you might as well start understanding it now. There is no remedy in their system. It is a pure and utter trap. Best that you get that through your thick skull. Best that you suck it up, free man, sovereign, and understand what it is you are doing versus crying and whining like a little baby. If you carry a license, you're in contract with the whore. You're sleeping with her. Enjoy it. If you don't want conflict, play the game. If you want freedom, it's a little tougher. And I cannot give you your freedom. That's yours to take if you wish. I've taken mine, and it's cost, again, dearly. But here I am able to share that. And I have to throw a little thank you out again for the benevolence of a very dear friend by the name of Eric, who has given me a place to be. And he's standing in the kitchen right now so he can hear me. I have to make sure he's here so he can hear me, you see. He doesn't always listen to my shows, but he loves to come down and scare the shit out of me during them. Standard fare. But flow a little bit of love in that direction. You see, because as a team here, everyone is making the difference. And none more so than Eric himself. Don't think he realizes that most days, but some days he does, and I'm just kind of letting him know that right now. In as much as Paul, Lisa, and everyone at Critical Mass, it gives us this platform to throw this information out at you where you need to have it thrown at you. And I promise you this, you show up on these shows, I will throw it right between your eyes. And you may not like it, and I'm really hoping for the most part that you don't. Because that's the way that people will wake up. It's a very difficult thing to look at the world and go, I was wrong about that. Most people can't. They're too busy going, I need to be right, I need to be special, I need to be this, I need to be that. That's your friggin' program. How about you turn that sniveling little bitch off? If you have any contracts whatsoever, again, by the end of this, I'm going to show you how to change your intent on it. Because this is the key that you need to turn. That lock that has you can never be opened from the outside. You are quite safe. Only you can unlock yourself from the inside. And here's the thing, even when you do unlock yourself, you can never be unlocked from the outside in any shape, way, or form. You are infinite. You are absolute creation itself. And we are caught in a bit of a construct matrix here. Hell of a game. Hell of a game. But I want you to understand something about fraud. If you're walking around with ID, understand that you are committing fraud unknowingly. And now I'm going to give you the truth that reverses that fraud, because there was no disclosure ever given to your mother and father regards to the birth certificate that you used to get your first pieces of identification. That you consented to be a name that was never yours. Your mom and dad thought of it, not you. How dare you claim something that isn't yours? But my mom and dad gave it to me. No, they didn't. They sold it to the fucking crown. They didn't know it. A little bit of a disclosure issue now, eh? You see, mom and dad gifted, without consideration, the name under the register to the crown. Willy-nilly, all of it, gone. And what did the crown hand back? The crown handed back a debt obligation in the form of a birth certificate bond. And I pity the fools that go around chasing these fucking bonds, because what they're doing is they're chasing the skins of their fellow brothers and sisters on this planet. Would you please stop cannibalizing me? Well, not me. Mine's worthless. And it's priceless at the same time. So all you little people out there playing the bond game, stop. Because you're still powering Baal. And you need to understand this. But my intent, I don't care what your intent is, because you don't understand what you're doing. By omission or commission of a crime, you are guilty by your actions. I have no need to judge you. I just observe and I go, no, that's not something I would do to my brothers and sisters. Thank you for not doing it to me. Truth is, the crown gave you an obligation if you accept it. And the obligation is the birth certificate death bond. It's a death certificate as well. Unless you believe that Mickey Mouse is a real living being. And that obligation typically starts at $1 million, transferred into whatever currency you wish. And what it is, it's a debt obligation that is slapped to your ass unknowingly, with deception and non-disclosure. And the only document you will ever, or your parents ever received from the government without asking. It was an offer. Do you accept this debt? Oh, look, we have a birth certificate. Yes, of course I will. And we all did it. Myself included. I just knew how to reverse it. Now, with that debt obligation that was freely accepted, where the father, who was a beneficiary, traded his status of beneficiary to the crown state daddy, and they renamed it benefits. If it were reversed, then it was mom doing it. Different game, though. There's a very spiritual game going on here. I'm not going to get into that tonight. But what mom, if it mattered to mom, they would be calling them fiduciates, not benefits. Because mom is the fiduciary. She's the main holder and creator of the, quote, trust, unquote. She built the baby. Dad's work was not a whole lot, if you understand what I'm saying. I'd like to think it was more than 5 minutes for the ladies, though. Anyway, getting back to that, mom and dad accepted this contract. They accepted the debt obligation. And then they convinced you that this name was you for the rest of your life. And you will defend that name to the death because somehow you think it's yours. Well, I'll tell you, there's only one way you can make it yours, and that's expose the fraud for what it was. And until you understand this, you never will. So I would highly recommend that you might want to think up something for yourself. Maybe be original. I assure you, the name that I have is not the one that mom and dad had intended for me, nor did it get registered. No, I chose that myself, but mom and dad actually did give it to me in a very different way. I've explained that one a few times. Maybe tonight I'll tell you again. But what mom and dad have ended up doing is aiding and abetting you into fraud for the rest of your life. They convinced you that you were this name and that you had somehow been tied to this birth certificate. Because here we go, as we grow up and we're, very ignorant in the ways of the world and the system, and of course mom and dad generally aren't much more. And we go out, we need to get something in terms of identification. And what do they ask for? First thing they need is for you to commit fraud. Absolute. So you bring that birth certificate that has nothing to do with you, is not owned by you, it's crown property, it says crown copyright right on it, and you're using a false identification, a name that's on it that isn't yours, yet you have empowered it. And you go get an application for a passport or a birth certificate or whatever the case may be. But here's what they need you to do. They need you to commit fraud so that they stay in universal honor. And of course we do, but we didn't know we were. Again, you can look around the system and see the pure intent to commit fraud in the actions of the system to forcefully try to keep you in that playpen. Sorry, this kid escaped. And there's a lot more escaping as well. So we now know how to turn the tables. There's a little document floating around right now you might want to read. It's one I put together for myself, and it can be applied if you understand it. If you don't understand it, don't, because that, like I said, is something I did for me. If you can make the document yours, by all means. But don't turn around to me and say, well, you know, I tried Kate's process. No, you didn't. You tried your own fucking process, and don't ever pull me into it. All I'll ever give you is tools. How you use them is entirely your responsibility. Fair? I think so. Because I'll tell you, any information I got that I used, I was fully responsible for it. And I didn't walk around and say, well, I used so-and-so's system and it didn't work. I said, no, you didn't. You used your interpretation of so-and-so's system because you didn't have their experience and their life existence to understand fully what it was they were talking about. So don't pull that one off on me. I can't deal with that. Not in 1,000 years. Not in 1,000,000 years. No. This is where we got to grow up and you know, cut our own mitten strings off and decide to do something for ourselves instead of what we've been indoctrinated into in begging and pleading from the nanny state that has absolutely destroyed this planet with our consent. So don't be looking out and blaming them. Have a look in the mirror first. This is a two-way street. It takes two to dance in this Babylon. Right? Well, hey, there it is. You want to dance with the whore of Babylon? Then she ain't dancing alone, baby. All right, so I'm just trying to get it through to you what it is. So if you have something in the system and you try to say that you do not wish to contract, sorry, you already are contracted until you understand what I'm telling you. And then we'll get into the sigils and whatnot as well, and how important it is for you to understand how they entrapped us spiritually with the words. That's a very heavy one to play. I'm just going to check the board. Mini rant over. Any questions or comments from anyone? Tony?
Yeah, one of the things that you know, we'd like to actually put together is an explanation on to basically do some kind of webinar series whereby we can get this information across in a constructive way.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, that's one of the things we need to get to when we get a bloody chance.
Well, that's the thing, you know, we're running Hellbent for Leather here, you know, running 7 nights a week, like 2 shows today. I did 3 on Sunday. Only did 1 yesterday. I've got an interview with Paul. Wanted to interview me tomorrow morning. I believe that's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard, which would make it 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. It's only for half an hour. I love being interviewed, by the way. It's a whole different mindset for me. That's why I really enjoy the main site on Critical Mass, because it actually feels like that. It feels like I'm being interviewed. I'm always more at ease, where I don't feel like I have to be, you know, handling the helm all the time. I can just sit back and you know, some nights I'm like that with the shows and whatever, and other nights I'm not. But let's get into the linguistics a little bit here, because we need to understand this. And I touched on this in great detail this afternoon. The link's available on my Facebook. And by the way, here are the Facebook contacts for myself and Tony. Mine is Kate.Rene.5. That's KATE.RENE.5. And Tony's is Tony.Kilvert.98. That's TONY.KILVERT.98, the number. Okay? So that way you can get a hold of us on Facebook. For those that wish to contact me and get involved in the Skype rooms, please feel free to contact request my Skype at katie.rene.thompson. That's KATIE.RENEE.THOMPSON. And my handle is Cygnus Trumpsit. All right? Cygnus, as in Cygnus the Swan. CYGNUS. Trumps it. All right? So that'll get a hold of me that way. And I'm having an inordinate amount of military-type shills. You know, when are these guys going to give up? You know, I don't know, typically based on the English that's being shared, I don't know where in the world these people are. You know, they put up these pictures of American military guys and whatever, or what have you. And then, of course, you can always tell, hello, my dear. Screw off. Did you read my profile? Good. Read it again. By the way, block, report abuse. Have a nice day. So that's how I handle that stuff. Oh, and of course, I get other ones that aren't quite that bad, and I'll just throw them into the Skype rooms and see how they feel about trying to cyber people there. Yeah, it's fun. Actually, have a little bit of fun with these guys. And I'm very, very disappointed, people, because I don't have any shills tonight. So I'm going to do a shout-out for the shills, please, to make themselves known. You know, you $9, $10 an hour parasites. Make yourselves known, because I want to bring you on the air so you can expose yourself, and then I'm going to put you on hold so you can listen. So I'll wait for the, all you got to do is hit 1 on the phone. If you call in, this is for you, 661-467-2401, and of course, you can Skype in as well. So make sure that when you do, just hit, it's not very difficult. There's a 1. You found it on your phone, of course. You're that highly trained. You just hit that to activate that you want to speak and be heard. And, of course, with Skype, you hit the little plus symbol. It's like a little X-y thing, You hit that, and then, oh, look, it looks like a telephone keypad. And you'll look for the very vertical up and same. It looks the same as a telephone. Just hit on 1 on that, so I'll know that you want to come on and talk about purple unicorns and vibrators and stuff like that. Okay, so please feel free. Everyone's welcome at my table. I want to see how you eat, and of course, if you do show up, I would love to have you here, and I will definitely answer the call and bring you on so that you can expose yourself, and I can put you on hold so you can listen to the ridicule.
Hey, we could also run an advertisement campaign. Is that done locally?
I think that's a good idea, Tony. I think that's great. And this, set up what you call a shill chat. We should do that. Area code 401. You are live.
Something, Kate.
Hey, Gloria, how are you?
Oh, good. You have a shill on the line or tormenting you?
Oh no, I want them.
Oh,
no,
God.
We had a bunch of them the other
night.
No,
I run from the dark.
No. Bring it on.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I was chased by 2 state cops today. I was coming home from the Supreme Court, copying something, and the Supreme Court clerk called me while I was down 95. You took my manila envelope. She handed me, and she wanted me to come back so she could taunt me some more. I'm like, no, honey, It was funny, but did I miss something or?
No. We're just having a bit of fun here. So I think what we need to do, Tony, is set up a shill hotline. We should, something that at least that way they can feel more specialer.
We could give them a little shiny badge and everything.
That's right, and we can we can do lots of things. We can give them the hockey helmet to remind them of the short bus that they went to school on, and all sorts of things.
Gold star.
Little gold stars and everything, So that's how seriously I take shills.
Oh, good. Blow them out of the water.
Oh yeah, come on aboard. I want to see how you eat, and I'm gonna take that cutlery and show you another trick with it. You might not like it. Might involve your genitals.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'll mute myself and continue listening. I thought I missed something because I'm in the process of moving, but anyway.
Oh no. Well, hey, you know what this show is all about. We have fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, keep going. I love it.
Fun with truth, show and tell. There you go.
It's true.
All right, kiddo.
Bye.
Take care of you. Okay, so we have the call out, of course, and that's to let everyone know that we do love the shills and the trolls, and we want to make sure that they have a voice to be heard as well, because we care that much. But let's finish off with still got over an hour here, but I want to get into the linguistics. This is, if there's anything that people ask me the most about, this is it. And the conversation I had with Lisa earlier, just before the show, it's not important that you understand how to break words apart. What is important is that you understand that they need to be broken apart. Not that you have to, okay? The reason why you need to know that is so that you can see the deeper hidden meanings that are in these words, and that the fact that there was something hidden in the first place. You see, that in and of itself is the biggest trick of all, because no one ever dreamed that there might be. I sure as hell didn't. As a kid looking at words going, that's kind of, weird, and how you take the word together and it was to get her, how, cute, stuff like that. But you never really went that deep into it because you took the teacher at face value because you assumed that he or she wasn't bullshitting you right to your face, and they are, because they don't know any better either. They've been trained by the best. And hell, these if figuratively, if you look at a teacher, teachers never left school. They kindergarten up through high school, and then they go on to college, and then teachers college, and back to friggin' school again. Spent a lifetime in school. They got no life experience.
I wanted to actually mention as well, it's exactly the same with the pharmaceutical industry and the institutions that train the doctors. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, circular.
Once you crack the MO, it's right the way through. It's it goes through every system, political, legal, the lot.
Yeah, you think they'd be original on this, but they use the same modus operandi on every level. It's quite insane, actually. But once you see one, you see them all. It's a fractal. Now let's get to how they entrapped us. If you can get the concept that the words have been messed with, and that they don't actually mean what you thought they meant. And I've said this many times, like the word refuse means to rejoin something or to say no. At least that's what the dictionary, the dictionary, that's what it said in there. But they don't tell you about, it might be in there, I've never looked actually, but it never crossed my mind that refuse means to rejoin, and why they're so, insistent of asking you if you refuse to have a lawyer. They don't say, do you want a lawyer? And they'll say, do you refuse to have a lawyer? Or if you say no, of course they want you contract and say, do you want a lawyer? If you say yes, no problem. If you say no, then they're going to ask you again, do you refuse to have a lawyer? And it's a trick, it's a trap. And these little trigger words for the Manchurian candidates, especially the cops, are specially implanted in their heads. And they have special training to make sure that they ask these very, very specific entrapping questions. So don't tell me that, I laugh when they say, well, it was police entrapment. Everything they do is entrapment. Everything. Doesn't matter at what level. It's entrapment from the get-go. Right off the birth certificate. You know what I'm saying? So if you get the concept that every word means its equal and opposite, and that, of course, if that's the case, then there must be a lot of assumption and presumption going on around here. Because have you ever talked to someone and you said something and they took you exactly the wrong way? Opposite? Because they assumed that you meant something else. Well, in the case of the court, they always assume what they want, never what you intend. Okay? That's rule one. So you're walking in blind if you don't understand what I'm telling you right now. This is why, we had people like Stephen there. Actually, you should check to see if Michael's about it. I wanted to get him in the call tonight. Okay, where are we? Don't see him, but I'm going to tag him anyway. Yes, thank you, Chris. ClaudiCollage.com. Beautiful. And anyway, where was I going there? All right, so you got the concept. They're messing with the words. It's all about presumption, assumption, and it's entrapment from the get-go. How did they do it to us as kids? Well, when you arrived here and you couldn't speak a word, lucky you. Very safe, and you weren't manifesting somebody else's universe. As you grow up, of course, depending on where you're from, if you're in Spain, you learn Spanish. If you're in an English-speaking country, you speak English, or Germanic, you're speaking German, or whatever the case may be. Fact is, you learn to speak whatever language it is that you speak first. It's not until you get into school, 4 or 5 or 6 years old. Generally, it's about 6 years old before you really start getting into the reading and writing stuff. And they get very, very specific on how to write their little squiggles, their little sigils. It's funny how squiggles and sigils are awful close, isn't it? Indeed. And they want to be very specific that you write the lowercase a exactly the way they want you to write it, because they created it. It's not your creation. I mean, really. And it goes back to thought as far as the creation of languages and writing. There's your man right there. Thought. I'm going to put together a whole show on this. I'm putting everything hermetic in the mirror. The good and evil thing. I have to look at both sides of it, and I have already. But some very specific things that I want to cover to open some bigger eyes. But what they do is all these letters that were created had a different intent, obviously, than what you think they are. And I think that's very safe to assume. And I'll give you an example. Michael actually shared this the other night. Mike brought to my attention, I didn't know this, that the Rosicrucians actually have the copyright on the question mark sigil. Isn't that interesting that a religious organization has the copyright on a sigil? So that might be a bit of a clue as to the rest of the letters, sigils. I think I'm going to stop calling them letters and just call them sigils now. That's all they are. So what they do over a number of years is they indoctrinate you into correlating your sound of A with a sigil that looks like that sound according to them. And the more that you connect to it, reading and writing, and really getting good at it, the more power the sigil is given. Which might explain to those that go through a lot, because when they speak and they have such a grasp of something or other, they're empowering those sigils even more to work in the mirror, right? Again, I still look at myself and say, okay, what did I do and how do I get whatever, right? So what we have to break away from is the agreement, because it was made in complete ignorance. There was non-disclosure because the teacher had no clue either, right? They got trapped in it as well. Doesn't make them any less culpable, but let's put everything in place here. So the teacher taught all about the sigils, unbeknownst to them as to the real power and intent of what they are. And of course we, being mindless little fools at the time, doing the right thing because we don't want to piss our teacher off and get attention, right? We do our very, very best to, perfect these sigils and then put them all together into classifications called spellings or words, spinners. And in doing so, what we've done is we've connected our spirit breath of life, that's the key row, the Christ within. And I just clicked on another thing I want to cover, Tony. Don't let me forget the key row sigil, okay? What we have done is we give every one of their sigils life of spirit breath, key row, every time we utter their words and sounds. Because there's a lot of assumption. And I've used this many times. You're probably tired of hearing it. Right, or right. Which one did I say? Which one did I spell? It doesn't matter. The assumption can be whoever hears it is. Assume this, that when I say right, I'm spelling it R-I-T-E. Because right now, all I'm doing is creating pure ritual. Because I understand it now. And everything that comes out of my face is in the affirmative intent of my pure intention without connection of joinder to their sigils. And I mirror each and every one of the sigils in this universe so that my pure intent goes out. Oh, did I catch you in your trap? Fun how that works, eh? Break free. That's all you got to do. You don't need to understand things to this level. What you need to get is just the concept that you have been trapped. And if it resonates with you, start making your choices. That everything you're saying is your intent, and it was not your intent to empower someone else's sigils. And then it was done deceptively, therefore the fraud is now revealed. And how does that work? Oh, that's right, it's null and void. Ab initio, ad infinitum, nunc pro tunc. Since before it began, until infinity, now for then. Disembowel it. And that's all you got to do. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go out and take a university course on this, guys. You don't. All you have to do is decide that you want no more part of it. And then what you say is what you say. And I spell say S-E, by the way. I don't spell it S-A-Y. S-E is quite simply this, S being the female kundalini and the E being the 9 in the mirror reverse, which becomes the light of the divine self within. It also means, in Latin, se, S-E, himself, herself, itself. So it is the divine trinity of one, singularity, where you've put it all together, boys and girls, and look at you, God Star. Versus se, which is the feminine kundalini of A, which is 6 in the mirror, which is dark, of tree of life. No, I'll say what I say, and I will spell it with my own intent, reversing all the power of your sigils. It's that simple. I could make it difficult, but I won't, promise. I know some of you are probably spinning on this right now, but it is a quite simple concept, and the seeds have been planted. Just dwell on it for a little bit, start looking at words. One of the reasons why I speak in prose. Now, how about I break that word up into two pieces the way it should be said? That's why I speak in prose say. For himself, herself, itself. Creator's a poet, by the way. Did you know that? That's why Creator speaks in prose. That's what prose is. Just a coincidence, however. Now, getting back to key row, I did remember. Thank you, Tony. Just got your wave. The symbol that the Vatican uses. Actually, Tony, why don't you do a little, because you did a really cool intro into what the key row is in terms of the Christ and whatnot. So if you could just jump in here for a sec, that would be appreciated.
Well, let me put it this way. I can't remember doing that earlier. Yeah, I must have caught the wave and ran with it, but the fact of the matter is I mentioned Windows XP, if that is of relevance, if you see what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. You know, excuse me. I guess I just got a message there from Steve that it's jumping in and out, or I don't know if it's him jumping in or out or not. But I'm just going to scroll down. And, Michael's still not online. I know he was out going to be doing some farm work today, so I'm not sure if he was going to get back in time or not. But anyway, let's get into key row. Now, something interesting that came to mind, and this was one of the pivotal things for me in terms of the mirror, because we can't assume anything. What we can assume is if we don't look at everything, we're going to get screwed. Okay, that's a safe assumption. So I won't assume anything with their system other than that assumption, right? Now, key row. Key is the letter X in the Western alphabet. That's the Greek letter key, spelled C-H-I, and it's, of course, sounds like key, K-E-Y, or Q-U-A-Y, right? And also, I like to bring this part of it in Cantonese Mandarin. C-H-I sounds like chi, which is life, right? Tai chi, the life, right? So when you start factoring it in, and you see ki or chi row, what you have there is the X, which is what ki is, and the row, which is the reversed P. You see, Rome does row with a P. It looks like a P. And actually the Greek letter is a reversed P. It faces the other way. It's the mirror image of it, only in a point. So what Rome has done is they've made it look like a P and rounded it instead of looking like a reversed flag, like a pennant, triangular shape. So my hunch on that, my intuitive went off, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. What they're doing is they're reversing the power of Rho, which is a very special letter. As I've told everyone, it means spirit breath. Sounds like roll, right? Or it has a rolling to it. So what we have there is, okay, well, if the row, the letter Rho is reversed to look like a P, then therefore, wait a minute, cannot the X be reversed as well? Only it looks exactly the same, only completely different? Of course it can. And then what did we come up with there, Tony? Well, look at that. That's a double cross. Isn't that interesting? And how often does the double cross come up? So when X can look, you put it in the mirror, it looks the same, but it's still reversed. Whether you think it is or not, it doesn't matter. When you put it in the mirror, it's reversed. Has to be.
Yeah, that was the thing that I remembered when you said that, actually, because, yeah, we were talking about the cross, and somebody actually came on the show and started talking about the relevance of the cross and the relevance of, what is it about religion that's managed to catch people, etc., and how it all works. And I did start to explain all about the cross, and the cross representing the grand crossing of the solar cycle, if you like, as Santos Bonacci talks about. And then we were talking about the relevance of the cross itself. Well, if you take a piece of paper and you cut it into a cross shape, yeah, and you fold up the sides, you put it onto the table and you fold up each arm of the cross, what you'll actually end up with, if it's a relatively straightforward cross, meaning you'll basically get a cube, and it's it's the sacred geometry. It's Metatron's cube that they've got you worshipping, but they put it in the form of an open cube, so therefore it forms a cross. 6 sides to a cube, one's longer than the other 3, and it looks like a cross. And that's the same sort of cube and the same worship. What's the worship? What's the thing? The same idol of worship, if you like, as the Muslims' cube that they walk around. You know, the Mecca.
Yeah, Metatron's cube.
Metatron's cube. Yeah. Again, they're worshipping the cube, like Christians are worshipping the cross, thinking it's a cross because of this bloke called Jesus who was nailed up to it, apparently. Well, the same sort of thing with the Muslims. They've got the Muslims worshipping the cube. You know, look at your rabbis. What have they got stuck to their third eye? It's a cube. They're all doing magic, and it's awesome. And it just ties all the religions in together if you can see it. Look at what's on top of the Islamic temples. You know, you've got a half moon. What's a half moon? A planet. You know, it's planet worship. And if you look at the domes on top of the actual the mosques and the, all of these St. Paul's Cathedral and all these sorts of places, well, then you need to cross-reference that with the primer fields. In other words, when you've understood and watched the information that's given to you on the primer fields, you'll understand the creation of universes and what's painted on the inside of these domes. Nebula. You know, they're telling you, all the signs are there. If you just look and bring the associated pieces of the puzzle together, you're going, oh my God, of course it's been there all along. They've been painting it in there. The masons have been building it into the buildings. The paintings have represented the nebula. The symbols of the fascia behind the American flag. There's a double cross on the Union Jack. It's telling you and screaming to your face, you're going to get caught unless you wake the fuck up. And that's what we try to show you. It's like, wake the fuck up already. You know, it's a trick, it's magic, it's a con. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is quite ingenious, and wow. Something else I wanted to mention there, Ki Ro, which is the same sound of Ka and Ra, so it's actually symbolic of Christ. So here's the thing. The symbol that the Vatican is using, if it is in fact reversed of Christ, what is it telling you? It's as clear as the nose in your face. Rome is the Antichrist and always has been. And it's always been in the mirror so that any of those that worshipped it were condemned accordingly. So here's the thing. Look at what we've been uncovering over the last number of months. And then ask yourself this one question. How long do you think this system can withstand us now? Seriously, think about it. If we're coming at them this hard, this fast, and this loving, how long do you think the system is going to hold up? Anyway, I brought Steve into the call. Do you want to have a few comments there?
Yeah.
Good evening, all.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's you're right. We've been hitting them force, and it's good that we're keeping up all the work that we're doing and all the information we're putting out now in what I'm doing. And I'm just going to take this whole damn thing down. That's what I've been working on for years, and I finally found the way to do it. So we're going to have some fun here over the next few weeks. Am I there?
Okay. Steve.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't unmute. Go ahead, Tony.
I've got another document I'd like you to have a look at. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll just, I will send you over the link directly. I was talking today with somebody who's quite well known, quite famous. But the point of the matter is, it's a long story, but we've had him on the show before. His name's Elliot Bernstein. And Elliot developed a system whereby to stream video. And that system was stolen by the courts, basically, and by the intellectual property lawyers. And Elliot's got a multi-trillion dollar lawsuit against the Supreme Court over the oversights. And he's also taken it over a lot further as well, because he's now released some breaking news. And I'll give you the headline. New York Supreme Court Ethics Oversight Boss's alleged misuse of the Joint Terrorism Task Force resources, funds, and violations of the Patriot Acts against civil targets for personal gain, and it's a RICO. So I'll give you that information. There's a lot more behind this, pages and pages and pages of court papers and all sorts of stuff, years of cases, but it's just another bullet in the gun, should we say?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening at the moment. There's a whole lot that's been going on in the background over the last several years. The whole point being, it boils back to the point that the corporation has been exposed for quite a while now, and the underpinnings are getting in place to put us into back to common law, which is already established law, whether you look at it from internationally or by the countries. And we're at the point now where we're going to take the corporation system down, and it's happening. It's happening in real time at this moment. So everybody just kind of hang on to their hats, because it's looking good.
Hey, Steve, this is Carol.
Hi, Carol.
How you doing there, kiddo?
Oh, hell, I was born good, darling.
Hi, I can tell by the vibration in your voice. Are you familiar with Nasara?
I've researched that, yes.
It sounds like you're talking about Nasara to me.
Not necessarily, no. That, whether that was ever something or will be anything, it has no bearing on my life. My whole point over the last several years is to find an avenue to bring down the corporate structure. It's fake, false, illegal, insidious.
That's what Nasara is all about. That is what Nasara is all about, my dear. And I'm here to tell you, it is real.
We've looked into this, Bob. Honestly, we've done Nasara, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and we're still looking into it, but there's a lot more.
Well, call me or get a hold of me. I know a lot about it that most folks don't know about, and I know some of the white knights involved in it, too. If you can get with Kate, she's got my phone number. Oh, well, my phone number's on my internet site. You can find it.
Okay, no problem.
Love you.
I love
I'll back
you too.
out here.
Oh,
okay. Let's hear more of what you're going to do, babe.
Well, what I'm working at right now is trying to finish bringing down this corporate structure, because we can talk all day about what they've done and what they're trying to do and what they might try to do in the future, but it's end game right now, and it's time to bring the whole structure down and just get rid of it. And that's the main thrust of this thing. Beautiful people like Kate and Santos and Tony. You guys are levels above me when it comes to the things that you do, and that's wonderful. My main thrust for all these years is to try to find a way to bring down the fiction, and then we can all create from there. So I've got a meeting tomorrow with a very important person, and hopefully we'll have some good things to report from there. But it's everybody just know that all the work we put into this, all of us individually and collectively, is coming to fruition at the moment, and I mean in real time. We're talking within days and weeks.
There were a lot of seeds that have been planted over the years, and again, I mean, even myself, as far as this game is concerned, I'm a late bloomer coming in here, right? I almost feel like a shock trooper.
No, and I'm going to tell you something about that, Kate, because we've talked about this a little bit. And though I've been looking at it from this direction for a long, long time, the things that people like you have brought to the table in recent time has been the icing on the cake that took and connected so many dots that we've all been trying to put together. So no, not at all. You've done a wonderful job putting this together.
Well, thank you for that. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to eat a bit of peanut butter and, no jam, but peanut butter. I love that. Caught with my mouth full. Anyway, thank you, Stephen. We do this together. That's the bottom line. And there's no other way we can do this. And everyone, and I've said this many times before, everyone has a piece of the puzzle. And no piece of the puzzle is more important or less important than any other. Because if you have a 5,000-piece puzzle sitting on a tabletop, all completed, and there's one piece missing, what's the first thing you notice?
The big gaping hole in the puzzle.
Right. That's how important you are. I got my piece, you got yours, and everyone's got their own piece. It's up to you to find it, to put the whole picture together.
Well, we've been making the cake and putting the ingredients in there and stuck it in the oven, and we got it to rise. We pulled it out and let it cool, and we're going, it's just cake, man. Wouldn't it be nice to have some icing? And then people like you come along, and the rest of you great, wonderful people, and you icing the cake for us. And now we're going, shit, we got this going the right direction now. Just put a candle on it and say happy birthday.
Yeah, put a candle on it and some TNT in it, and away we go. I'm kidding. Dancing girls. Just for fun. Sorry, got to be drama sometimes, right? But it's so very true. And I have complete agreement on. I am not interested in anything this system would have to offer, and I don't care what you want to put a label on it. Anything from this system is pure poison, as far as I'm concerned, and I really want nothing to do with it. It's difficult enough for me to transmute the energy of what's already in existence without, more of that garbage that I know is pure flesh coming at me. It's like, no, I will not cannibalize my brothers and sisters. I cannot, and we really, as far as I'm concerned, have to get out of this money paradigm, period. We have no need for it. And all it is that hook, line, and sinker again. And, it's had us by the mouth, dragging us, drowning us for over 5,000 years. Started with silver and gold, then finally got down to the part where we're actually trading each other's flesh like slaves on the market. And of course, we don't own the money. And what happens then? We don't own the money. It's all fraud. Anything we buy with it, who does it belong to? Those that own the money. So that's why you cannot own anything using any of these Federal Reserve notes or any fiat currency, because every fiat currency is pegged to what? Fed Reserve note, Bretton Woods, 1948. You might want to look that up. Okay, so they've made this an insidious trap, and they've made it impossible to own anything by virtue of it. So, I don't care what anyone says about, you're going to get this, and you're going to get that, and this, and that, and the other money. I don't want any of it. You can take it and stick it where the sun don't shine, because that's exactly where you need to be, because you're the brightest thing in the universe. What are you looking for the light for? You're getting blinded by it. I think there was a song in the 70s, Blinded by the Light. Remember that one? Yeah, Blinded by the Light. Wrapped up like a douche in the middle of the night. Something a little weird about that song, but a lot of truth in it. So I think this might be Jim. I'm going to bring you into the call, Jim. Just want to see if it is or not. And also checking to see if...
Hey, Kate.
Oh, it is there. There you are. How you doing, my friend?
I lost the job Friday, but that's okay. I wanted to make a comment. We all just have to make a decision on what we want to do and how we want to live. And you just make that decision. I was listening to quite a few different shows today. And, they're talking about the Constitution and all that different garb. And it's like, come on. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is it that we owe each other? We're supposed to love each other. We're supposed to take care of each other. That's what we're supposed to do. Period.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, too. I was having this discussion yesterday as well, as far as, someone had asked me about something regarding what I had, given someone quite a while back to use, and was I going to get that back? And it's very substantial. And hang on. There's a point. Yeah, exactly. There's a point to this. You see, when I did it, I actually knew intuitively that I would never see it again. So I wasn't doing it because I was looking for gain from it. What this individual had to prove to themselves was that they had to fail all by themselves, with no excuses. And that's going to be the toughest thing for that individual to confront. There's no debt involved. I already knew that. And again, anytime I, quote, lent anyone money, unquote, I never lent it. I never expected it back. That was always the intention. There was no obligation. I would never, turn around and go, well, generally, someone that maybe borrowed 10 or 20 bucks off me or something years ago, I never saw them again. And my grandfather had a great saying. I love my grandfather. He was a pretty smart guy. And I was very young when he told me this about. My dad reinforced it as well. He said, "Well, listen, if you lent so and so what, 10 quid, 10 pounds, whatever, in Ireland." I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, and they didn't give it back." He said, "Well, no." I said, "And you don't see them anymore, right?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Well, good. They're out of your life cheap." And that's basically what it was. That's why I had to let go of all of that. I let go of everything. And I got to tell you, this has been the most difficult and yet the easiest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Let go. Because the only one that's holding the chain that keeps you down is you. And as soon as we stop fighting, as soon as we stop bickering and thinking that the world somehow owes us something, that's what they call a chip on your shoulder, carrying a chip on your shoulder. They have those in poker casinos too. I would advise you to get rid of them. And until you let go of the debts, you are as enslaved to them as the individual you claim to owe you. It will hold you like no other. And that's a big pill to swallow for a lot of people, especially those caught up in the wealth game and the wealth dreams. No. Think about it. If you lent somebody money and they never paid you back and you still dwell on that, who's holding the obligation? You or them? I think it's a fair question to ask yourself. And I think at the end of the day, you might figure out that, well, one, you're not going to see it again, and two, why would you care? Give it away. Just let it go. Or it's going to keep you held like that Chinese finger trap, ad infinitum, ad nauseum. So, anyway, if there's a little bit of advice I'm handing out tonight, that's it. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And I put that in the essay I just did with Hooked by Phonics. If we give a debt or a loan to someone, never a lender nor a borrower be. Very, very true thing. Because it makes a debt slave out of both of you. It's that whole assume. When you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me. That one never really made a whole lot of sense, but you've heard it. So, any other comments, guys? Jump in.
Sounds like good advice.
I was just going to mention about usury and the banking system, but I think practically all the people here know all about that. There's not much point, but that's how they've got away with doing this stuff, usury.
Yeah, and something else too about the usury aspect. You see, everybody was focused on interest. Interest was wrong. Of course it is. And it was a distraction. And they got everyone looking at I looked at it too. I went, hey, that's not right. The truth is, all loans are usury. In any shape, way, or form. If you cannot gift, then you are giving an obligation. If you want a big example, I said it earlier, your mom and dad gifted the system your name they wanted to give to you. And they thought they did. And what did the system give back? Exactly what you gave them, an obligation. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, so, we got another caller in here. Good, this is what I want. Lots and lots of people. Let's show up and get her done. All right, area code 702.
We've got some reverb, so somebody hasn't muted Kate.
Hi, yeah. Kate.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I have a question for Steve real quick. He is mentioning bringing down the system, and I'm all about bringing down the system. The corporate side, or is it the corporate monetary, the whole thing? What exactly are we bringing down? Because the monetary to me is huge as well. I'd love to see money go. Any kind of form of currency, in fact.
Well, without getting into a long, drawn-out history lesson, the whole thing
Yeah, Rome on down, baby.
Well, yeah. You go back to 1305.
I'm there.
East India Trading Company. The compilation and corporation of the world, the death and genocide and stealing of all wealth and resource, and killing of the shamans and destroying the natural history of the world. That's in a nutshell. The first thing we have to do is we have to finish what we got an echo because I'm hearing myself talk.
Yeah,
but
I think it was Carol's line. Her phone did that before, so I just put her on hold.
Okay.
So just so she knows, that's what it was, because we had that issue before with her phone.
Okay. But anyway, we're to the point in the game where all the information has been put out there for a long time now, and again, people like Kate, Tony did a great job on his book. I looked at that the other day, and the information is at the fingertips for everybody to catch up. If they're not caught up, they can spend the time to do it. But the point is now is we're in the takedown situation. We've got to get rid of the wall, and we're not going to do it one brick at a time. We're now taking the whole damn wall down. And what's going to happen is, as that wall comes down, the knowledge will grow, and everyone will start to understand, and they'll say, oh, my God. And then we'll say hallelujah, and we'll all have a big hugs and kisses, and we're going to go forward from there. But we got to finish this project that we've been working on for so long first, and we're almost there.
Yeah, almost done. We're in the end game right now.
You bet.
So, this is chin up, torches high, baby. Get as high on that hill and that vibration as you can, because when you do that, you're bringing others up with you. And it is a proven fact that one awakened being holding a high vibration can bring up to 200,000 other lower vibrating beings.
Well, and that's an important part, Kate, because just let me throw something in here real quick. I've spent a lot of my years getting to this point in my life being a very aggressive individual and never taking crap from anyone for anything. And I've walked any path I wanted any time. And then I realized at a point that particular mode of operation was not going to work anymore. And once I realized that, and I realized that the real power is within your heart and that vibration and that energy, and it's amazing. You don't even have to know anybody, be around anybody, hear anything, nothing. That energy, if you're true with yourself, goes out and connects, and my God, we are powerful beings.
More than most people realize, and this is probably, if there's one message I'm trying to get out, that's the one. I need people to understand their power and what they've been giving away and what has been literally stolen and redirected through deception. Also, something else that came up today, always be mindful of the deceivers. There are many out there, and they're going to start showing up in droves now. They already have started. I mean, it really began with Opt, and anything of that ilk, that's system, and especially Opt. That was a COINTELPRO to drive the energy down, and it almost did. Then a few of us, as far as I know, hey, I'm gonna toot a horn here. This is Cygnus trumpeting. As far as I know, I'm the first one that came out on the air against it. I was listening to all these people and this, that, and the other, and it's like, yeah, that looks great. It's a beautiful carrot, and I wish it was true because it would certainly ease off a lot of pain. Then, of course, I looked in the mirror and I thought, wait a minute. If someone was going to try and trap me, someone in destitute, having been ripped to shreds and family gone, the whole 9 yards, all of it. How would I, someone like me who is, and I can't even use the word fighting. I don't fight to stay in my place. I just stand in it. How could someone get me to step off that? And then it dawned on me. I said, well, they would come out of nowhere and look almost like a savior of sorts, where everything that I was hoping, the system collapsing and corporations and what have you, and that would appeal to me. But sorry, I am a little sharper of wit. I'm a little more calculating of observation. I'm a little deeper in researching and looking into the backgrounds of things. And of course, most importantly, it just didn't feel right. There's something about it just didn't feel right, and I always trust that. It's never let me down. Anytime I've questioned it or went the other way, bam, you know. So that's what I do. I follow my heart, and your eyes will deceive you, your ears will deceive you. That's what disillusion's all about. But I'll tell you something: you will never deceive yourself. That's the truth. And that's your heart. No one can rule your heart but you. Only others can affect it if you let them, but no one can rule it. That's the king of the jungle, baby. That's Leo the lion, right? Dead center in your solar plexus. Okay? That's where you are. That's your Emerald City. And as soon as anything comes against that with me, my little radars go off, and I just have no time for it. No time for it at all. It just doesn't sit. Too many things going on, and like I said earlier, it's time to be the watcher now, because we've changed roles here. We've changed roles in a very large way. And now it's time for us to be mindful and watch for the pitfalls, watch for those that would come out and entrap our brothers and sisters. And they'll use all manner of traps. And I'll tell you, if there's any money involved, 180 degrees instantly, because we know what money is now. Okay, that's if you want to trade in the flesh of your brothers and sisters, you go ahead. Your soul is now harvestable. All right. They come at you with, trying 3 levels of attack. They come at you and try to buy you. They'll come at you with low level conflict and really mess up your life, completely destroy all structures around you, support systems and everything else. And if you're really asleep, they can come out and kill you. And generally, those that are part of the system and are worshipped within the system, that's why judges get slaughtered, because they've already sold their souls to the devil. They have no recourse, none. Anyone that's taken that oath, until they change that intent and expose the fraud that was already within it, which I know of at least one lawyer that sees it from that perspective. That one lawyer, I will accept that. But anyone else, it's just no. You have to understand the full gravity of the mistakes that were made, and take full accountability for them. Otherwise, you're option 3. That's why you'll see certain people like whistleblowers and whatever getting knocked off, because they were still asleep. They were still part of the system. All right, so
there is one used for money, though.
I've got a few, but go ahead.
Well, their money. I'm not talking about my value. I'm talking about their money.
Yeah.
They have played fear upon us for many, many years. And now, since the tables have turned, it's going to cost them their money. And that puts the fear into them. And
absolutely.
Now they are running rampant with fear, and now I would like to say this, interject this at this point, that let's not get egotistical or antagonistical, because we have to be past that point. There's a lot of people who have been caught up, just like we all have our whole lives, and once the knowledge and the veil is moved and they can see clearly now, the clouds are gone.
Yeah.
They will say, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. What can I do?" And we have to be there to say,
to embrace.
Take my hand. We'll be fine.
Absolutely. These are your brothers and sisters, and the vast majority of them have been duped far worse than you. I have nothing but love for them, and it is my wish that they awaken. Because I know what's the word I'm looking for there? I know the ramifications if they don't, and it's not good. It's not good for them, and that is not something I would wish upon anyone. You see,
and I know what it's felt like in my life when I haven't felt compassion.
Absolutely. Would you want that on someone else? No. And this is the biggest lesson I think for me as well, in getting to that absolute scrape the bottom with your face point in life. And then looking at it, standing up, dusting myself off, and going, no, I'm still better than that. I'm still stronger than that. I'm still more compassionate and more loving than what any of these, sleepy beings can do. And there's nothing but, if there's any emotion to be involved at all, it is pity. And we have another caller in here too, by the way. Area code 216. Hello, area code 216. You're on the air. You put your hand up. Hello, area code 216. Come in, that's you.
Sounds like he's eating peanut butter too.
I sounded more like chips. Mine was quieter than that. just gummed up my mouth for a sec with the peanut butter. Are you there? Area code 216? Okay, I'll have to come back to them. But I'll bring them back in. They did put their hand up, so. Okay. Just more of the background noise I'm concerned with. Oh, I love this Blog Talk page. It's just, let's hit the button 17 times before it activates. But anyway, yeah, again, guys, we do this together, and we do this with absolute compassion. We have to be the holders of the highest vibration. And there is no room for hate, fear, anger, lust, greed, none of it in that vibration. And if there's any of those vibrations that you're still holding on to, the only thing that's doing to you is holding you down. You're still under the spell. You're still captured in the physical illusion, like somehow it's very real. Yeah, it may appear real, and it feels real, and all the rest of it, but it's still an illusion. And it's somebody else's construct. It is a construct created by those dark principalities that are here to try to trick you and harvest you out of your soul. And I've already told you that you are completely untouchable. In all ways. You are completely locked away from any and all of it. Nothing can harm you. The only thing you can do is give that away and remain stuck in an illusion, going circular for however long you wish. I'm just, for me, I just made the choice that, this is about as low as I want to get. Thanks, I've got better things to do with my infinity. Much better universes to create. And, I've seen some pretty cool birds in this realm. I think I might put a few of those in my own. But I certainly won't be caught in this construct much longer. We get out, and that's how it is. Understand that the spells are there. It was done in the sigils. We had to break that. We had to break that spell. That way, everything that you are actually using now and writing, for those that understand what I've been talking about, are writing with your intent in the affirmative of what you mean, not what can be assumed or presumed by anyone or anything. The spell is broken. It's done. Speak freely now. But be mindful. Don't get into the drama fest, because you are a powerful, powerful creator. Everything you utter is creation in itself, because you are the Christ and or the Antichrist. You decide. If you're still asleep, you are working for the Antichrist. If you are awake, you are working for the Christ within you. The key row, now reversed, back in the mirror the way it should be on the other side of the looking glass. Stand in that light. There was a pretty cool rebel, whether he lived or not is irrelevant. But this rebel, or representation of this rebel, who dared to walk into the face of the Pharisees and all the scribes and lawyers of his day, where he walked literally into the main buildings of their preaching and walked up to them in their face and said, "No, you're teaching it all wrong, moron." And then he kicked some tables over. The moneylenders. You might know the guy. They crucified him for it. That ain't going to happen to us now.
Yeah, and that's apparently because they tried, but it didn't work.
No, it did not work. The lessons are there if we have the eyes and ears to hear and see it. And you have to use both. You can't use one or the other. And we've been caught up in this beautiful, dazzling, visual display of high-frequency sound. And we lost sight and sound of ourselves. So I think it's time to take a little bit of time. Get inside. Get dark. Get silent. Get listening. And get reconnected. I don't know if I mentioned about the brain at all during this episode. I might have last night. I know I did this afternoon, but I do want to touch on this. We've got another 12 minutes before we go off the air here.
Which one?
The radio transceiver that the brain is.
Yeah, which one? We got 3 of them.
3 what?
Brains.
I'm just talking in general. All right. Well, that's a good point, though, Tony. I actually did bring that up today. Excuse me. All right. The one that most people are operating out of is the one that's running the ego program. That's a reptilian brainstem. The 250 genomes that built that, as well as the my hunch on it is the adrenal glands as well, because gods have no need for fear. After all, So they had to put something in us to make us feel that. That's where most people operate. That's where they want to keep them, down in the low brain, in the cerebellum. And then there's others that work slightly higher in the mammalian brain. They have a certain level of compassion, but they're generally still willing to eat meat and kill other things to survive, and that's I can't say it's okay, but that's where they're at least they're above that, and they're using more rational thought and more compassion. And then, of course, you get into the higher brain, hippocampus, and you're getting into the ether realms, the higher heaven within. But I'll tell you, once you get to that level, and once that's the one you're operating from, there's a really cool thing that happens. Your transceiver isn't interfered with anymore, or a whole lot less. Oh, there's my rabbit right in front of me. Oh my, he's like right there. Hey, buddy. Cool. He's having some dandelions. Smart rabbit. Anyway, once you get into the higher level brain, you're into the higher frequencies, and what that is the direct connect to your higher self. That's your radio transceiver. Your brain, or the meat that it is strictly and solely a biological radio. It's a biological transceiver, in as much as a crystal radio set is a transceiver and whatever. And just to give you some verification on that, research was done on the human brain and the number of cells and everything else, and what they calculated was the human brain, with all its capacity, could only, based on the information that was coming into anyone 24 hours a day, could only store up a maximum in the brain of 3 months' memories. I'd say you probably have a little bit more memory than 3 months. And what that is you still have, this is proof that you have connection to the higher self. Like if you look at someone that's just got a piss poor memory, chances are that's because they're not even remotely connected and they're operating off whatever limited memory they can have. Okay? But the better your memory is strictly a better ability to tap into your higher self, because all that information throughout your infinity has been stored there. Much of it has been blocked. But it's there. It's all there. Everything you need to know, all knowing, is right there at your fingertips. It's just a matter of turning that switch. And to turn that switch, you've got to start looking at things like, fluoride has no effect on you, only if you agree it does, in as much as chlorine has no effect on you. Chemtrails have no effect on you. Vaccinations have no effect on you. RFID chips have no effect on you unless you agree that they do.
Kate, can I just put something forward here?
I would be really surprised if you didn't want to. I just want to finish the one point. Not everyone is there yet. Okay? This is where I am.
Yeah, no.
So, no, go ahead, Tony, please.
Well, what I was going to say is the same sort of thing that I mentioned earlier today when we did critical mass. I mean, we're not doing critical mass now, but on the earlier program,
good point.
I mentioned I was talking about heavily polluting the planet, and why, when our gene pool is in our DNA has been polluted, it makes us stronger because it doesn't kill us. Yeah, and it was the fact of when the environment is polluted with fluoride and with chemtrails and with all this nasty stuff, right? We build up our immune system stronger and stronger and stronger, and all of that information is stored within our very DNA. So our generation after generation after generation of children that have to cope with more and more and more pollution, for want of a better word, because that's what it is, gets that DNA genetic memory is stored in our immune system's proteins. So what it's actually doing is making us evolve into a highly robust species.
Armor-plated, baby.
Yeah.
Armor-plated.
Pardon?
Yeah, I was going to say armor-plated, of course. That which is, when you get past what's trying to harm you, you've actually conditioned yourself in that it will not affect you anymore.
Yes, I agree. I'm not looking at that, but one of the things I want to point out, which is where I'm leading up to. I haven't got there yet, nowhere near it. But the point is, so what it's actually done in effect, even though it's negative, it's evil, it's nasty, it's all this negative stuff, we've transmuted it we've actually benefited as a race by the genetic strength of the species or the crop to be able to survive under such onslaught of abuse. So it's empowered our genetic lines, if you like. Now, I understand exactly what you're saying, so it has done that. I can't knock that. I'm not going to argue with that. It has made us stronger because it didn't kill us. The parents that lived long enough and were still fertile enough to have children, when they were the best of the species that mated and have a new baby that combined the best of the DNA from both parents' stock, it improved the species. It did. But the one thing that I'm trying to explain or separate, I think is the right word, is when you know who you are and you can say, right, this stuff doesn't affect me anymore. That's it. You know, I'm not playing your game. I'm not going to live in fear of it. It's not going to affect me. That's fine. That's great. But having said that, there comes a point when you're dealing with having children, for example, that are going to be born into this world, and there's this stuff in the water supply and the air and the environment and the food and genetically modified crops and stuff like that. It gets to the point where it's a saturation level, and that's the point. Children that can't grasp the information that you're giving them are going to be affected by the results because they're not prepared to handle the onslaught. But we've got to the point now whereby what we need to do is make that distinction and say we've gone far enough down this road now. We need to actually start thinking back about the planet again, because we're polluting it to serious levels. And all those children that will be born are going to be born into a situation whereby they're not really prepared for such massive onslaught.
Okay, well, that's the point, Tony. We're changing that now, so that's not going to happen, and I'm not going to manifest that. I actually need to jump in here, Tony. We got 5 minutes left. I want to make sure that, and continue your thought. Anybody that wants to call in, you better do so now if you want to listen. We're going to roll past the hour here. Call in now at area code 661-467-2401 if you want to continue listening, or you can Skype in, of course. And we do have another caller. I'm just going to open the line up there, Tony, and then continue your thought, my friend.
Hey, Kate. Hey, Tony. How's it going, guys? It's Bryce phoning here from Colonia.
Hey, Bryce. How are you?
Hey, not too bad, man. I finally been able to catch the last couple shows, and man, you guys are hitting some great stuff. And I just I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to I went and bought the Criminal Code of Canada and all that stuff. I kind of sent you a message there quick about it.
I was going to ask you if you needed a new doorstop. I'd send you one.
Yeah, that would be great. I wanted to know, did you get a chance to check out the Sirius movie yet, or?
Oh yeah,
Stephen Greer.
What a joke.
Yeah. Well, I kind of bought into it because, you know, I really wanted to kind of help put free energy out, you know, for the earth and stuff. So I was.
Absolutely, Bryce.
Hey, dude.
Oh yeah.
Out there so long, it's ridiculous. It's encoded into the buildings. It's encoded into the Masonic structure. Tesla did it. We've done that. Got the T-shirt. And they're just pretending to have we need to find a cure for cancer.
I already have it.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. I'm already working on that, actually, some things you brought up with the whole pot oil. So my brother, he's dying, and he's been dying of hepatitis C for quite a while, actually, and they just gave him 2 years to live, so I'm really working on it. I got some stuff that's always given to me, and we're actually going to make some really good oil and see if that doesn't help him. You know, because as long as I guess you make it right?
No, it's not necessarily that. You can have apricot kernels, vitamin B12. There's all sorts of different things that can help cancer. You know, organic foods, the Gerson therapy. I wrote a book on this stuff, mate. Yeah. Bicarbonate soda, change the pH balance, honey and cinnamon, manuka honey, that is. There's all sorts of things you can do. The point is they're not going to tell you that you can do that because they've been institutionalized.
First thing I'm going to recommend. Bryce, the first thing I'm going to recommend is your brother?
Yeah, it's my oldest brother.
Okay, you get him off all forms of sugar. Now.
Yeah, he's really hard on the chocolate bars, like fucking crazy.
That's killing him. That is That's high fructose corn sugar, and it actually spins the toroidal field backwards, and it creates a very acidic environment. Cancer is a fungus, and it needs that environment to thrive. That's why cancer has been so rampant. Based on, you go into a grocery store and you find me a product that doesn't have high fructose corn sugar in it, and they have about 30 different names for it. Okay, any processed food will have it. So he better get natural real quick, unless he wants to, because you can do a lot of things, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that if you don't.
He was definitely trying. I tweaked him onto coconut oil because that's a natural antiviral, right? And then natural bee pollen and oregano oil. Natural chocolate, by all means, that is a beautiful thing to eat. But you got to get the raw cocoa. Yeah, no doubt. If he's got a chocolate fetish, then you get him on, and it actually tastes far better anyway. Okay, I will definitely let him know that for sure. Yeah, but he's got to get up. You know what? You guys are awesome to listen to. Like, I just listen to you guys all day. I go to work taping, and I just plug you guys in, and I just listen to you, like, from the time I go to work till the time I'm done. And it's, like, on a daily, and it's great. And, I just back it 100%. I'm ready to make the jump, and I'm actually doing the paperwork right now as we speak, so that's kind of why I was hitting that. But I know it's like you got to study it on your own, right? Yep, and you're on Skype. Are you on Skype yet? Yeah, no, I'm going to buy some minutes. I'm just calling you off my cell phone right now. I knew there was only 13 minutes left, so I was like, fuck it, I'm phoning in.
Yeah, perfect. Well, one of the first things you need to do is get the second part of my book, because I discuss all of these in the book. Hey, yeah, because I know that you recommended the books. I haven't had a chance to actually look at it and download it, but I am going to make time for that, because your books, I definitely want to check that out for sure. Well, even get my brother to check them out. Yeah, well, the answers are there, bud. It needs to start with you if you're interested. Your brother can follow later. The point is, if you want to help him, mate, you've got an opportunity here. Go get the book. It won't cost you a fucking penny. All right? But it's okay, yeah, I will download that today for sure. 100%. I am going to call in here in the next couple of weeks. I'm sorry, I really got to cut this short. It's going to kill my bill. Love you guys to death. Keep in touch if you can, Kate, and I'll keep trying to keep you updated. Okay, and get Skype. It's free Skype to Skype. We can talk for as long as you need. Okay, bud? Nice. I'll throw some credit on, and I will do that for sure. You don't need credit. You just got to get on Skype. Oh, it's free. Just got to get on Skype, and it's free. Okay, yep. I will do that, man. I'm a little green, but I'll get on it for sure. Well, hey, I'm a lot broke, so I do everything I can free. Okay. Gotcha. I'm right. Down to town. So you guys have an awesome night. I'm going to continue listening, and I will keep in touch for sure. All right, my friend. Great to hear from you. Finally, take care. Totally great talking to you guys. I will talk to you guys soon. Absolutely, we're always here. Okay, man. Awesome. Imagine that, eh? Well, we're into the chord section now, guys. So whoever's in the call is in the call, and I'd love to have anyone else that wants to chime in and get their voice. Carol, I tried opening it, but there seems to be a feedback loop happening, which I probably should have said before we went off the air to call back in. But because if you hang up now, you can't call back in. So. Is there anything you wanted to share right now, and then I'll put you back on hold and bring you back in if you want? Oh, she must be away from the phone. No, I think he's gone. No, Carol. Oh. No, I don't think she's at the phone right now. Yeah, because I had to put her on hold. You can hear the echo. All right, well, we'll just slip it back on hold there. Okay. Excuse me. I don't know where else I want to go tonight. Any other suggestions from anyone would be great, and because I think we got a lot of good information out tonight, and I don't know if we need to really belabor this much more. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting that particular topic has come up, and as I say, the book number 2, I go through a whole range of different cancer situations. What causes it, how it happened, what therapies have been looked at. Rick Simpson's in there again. We know about the Rick situation. loads and loads and loads. If somebody's got cancer, you know, and you want to give them their life back, you just give them a copy of that book. It's simple.
Well, it's a little bit more difficult. The first thing that people have to do is, if they're looking for something to fix themselves, they're going to have to stop doing that which broke them first. You know, yeah, because you can give anyone a cure all day long, but if they're still going to be, you know, pumping the poison in, you're fighting an uphill and two losing battle. So I would highly recommend against that, just for, you know, good, solid, sound advice. Change the habits that got you there, and remember, this whole system has been designed to totally degrade and destroy our bodies. Never mind the crazy work that we have to do in order just to survive, but all the foods that we go and get that we get to survive with the pittance of energy that or skin that gets returned to us is also designed to kill us as well.
Okay. And absolutely, I agree with you 100%, and I also covered that in the book.
Yes, I know. I'm well aware of it. I'm just bringing the things up that the hard things that people need to look at for themselves. This is the self-accountability part, and nothing's going to fix you until you fix you first. Bottom line.
Absolutely.
You know? It's why do some people get, you know, one form of cancer and it's lethal, and they're okay, and another one gets a milder version and they get wiped out? It's because of the state of mind they're in, more than anything else. You know, it is completely mind over matter, and there's your proof if you need it. There are steps that everyone can take. The first one has to be you, and you got to get yourself into the right headspace for it, and that's it. Because nothing is going to work until you get yourself right. That's it, you know. And I'm talking about getting rid of the bad habits. If you're pounding back a 2-liter bottle of Coke a day, don't expect to be healthy, and don't expect to have really nice skin either. Okay, you will be gaunt, you will be drawn, and your body is getting poisoned to a level. Of course, the brown food coloring, the caramel food coloring, is actually highly cancerous. You know, and never mind the fact that Pepsi and Coke, the same company, using feeder tissue as flavorings. Okay, they want you to love the taste of human flesh. Okay, hell, they've been finding fetal tissue in burgers, for crying out loud.
Yep.
They got us eating ourselves. You know, so by all means, go on out and have yourself a baby Big Mac, literally, or a baby Whopper. Literally. Enjoy it. Might have some horse meat in there too, lucky you. At least you'll be able to run faster.
Or a Happy Meal. Mm.
Exactly. You know, you are what you eat, and you wonder why people are acting like cattle? You might want to slow down on the steaks there, cowboy. Why you might be afraid? Well, geez, you might want to lay off that chicken. Cold-blooded? Yeah, you might want to lay off the fish too, because they don't have any pain sensors. They only have pressure sensors. All right, you are what you eat.
Again, I mean, this goes all the way, but the point of the matter is, I've got to mention him actually. Starseed Sunfire, or was his name? I think Santos interviewed him a little while ago.
Yeah, I think that's the name, Starseed Sunfire. Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, he's opened up his pineal, and he's absorbing cosmic energy through the pineal, the Holy Grail, or one of them, directly into his brain. He's also doing urine therapy and various other things, sun gazing and all sorts of other things. So the energy is available, but only just because they've completely hidden the information, hidden the tactics, the skills, and the ability, and hidden the information on how to do these things, just like magic. You know, just like they've done the witch killing and all the rest of it. It's all about hiding the information. If you don't get access to the information, then you can't do it, because you don't know how to do it. It doesn't exist as far as you're aware.
Yeah, and something else I want to bring to the table here, might be one of the first, who knows, but I want people to be very mindful, because I was at one point an advocate for sun gazing. I'm going to go right back to the one line that keeps resonating with me constantly, and it involves everything in this illusion. Everything you see and everything that you think you don't see, because it's all there. Thou shalt have no other idols before thee, before you. And everything outside of you is an idol. Everything. I've said this forever. There are no answers in this physical universe. There are only clues to you within. The construct is outside of you, completely. And that includes your body, everything. Because everything to you is external. Everything. Because you are the center of the universe. Absolutely you are.
I would like to add something, Kate.
Sure.
I recall yesterday you guys were talking about eating very few calories and being able to maintain yourself, and this is I find this to be true as well. In fact, we are our own source of energy. Yep. We don't need to go exterior, outside of ourselves to get that energy. Everything is within. For example, you have people who just breathe air.
Breathe air, absolutely.
That's all they need. Everything else is within themselves to sustain themselves. And from what I'm understanding too, consumption is fear. So by consuming, we're only bringing fear within into our system. And unless you know how to transmute fear, you're kind of out of luck. And not a lot of people know how to transmute fear. But if you do know how to transmute fear, just know that everything that you're bringing in, you want to turn it into that light, because you are your own source of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree more. I might be packing maybe 200 calories today. Because I'll tell you, one of the things I have noticed over the last while is I've been eating so little. Because I'll tell you, there's been one other thing that's been happening too. Layers upon layers of fear have been peeling off like nobody's business. So I find that to be a rather interesting coincidence that you mentioned that. Nice correlation. And again, you talk about people that, overeat and getting these binges and whatever. You can put whatever label you want on it. I'm going to go right with what you just said there. That is just anxiety. That is fear. And you're just trying to, what do they call it when you're comfort foods, right? And some people are just way too comfortable in that, And again, that's not a make right or a make wrong. That's just an observation. But I'll tell you, I might have had 300-400 calories yesterday, maybe less than that the day before. I had a little bit of soup today, and what else did I have? One slice of bread with a little bit of peanut butter on it. I only did that because I wasn't hungry. It's something to do. But I totally agree. I see that as a perfect correlation. And the more that you start sustaining yourself in that mentality, the less you're going to need externally. Absolutely. Makes total sense. If I have to use the canine left brain, that's what I'll use it for. I'll just use it as an observation tool, and I'll keep my creativity running full force. Good point. Come on, bring up another one. That was great. Are you there? Did I lose everybody? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not sure what happened to the call.
Sorry, I muted myself.
Oh, there you are.
No, that was the point.
All right.
Thank you, though.
Oh, that was great. Good, a great point. And this is the thing too. You see, and this is how our mirrors work. Just because I'm talking doesn't mean to say I know everything. Quite the opposite. I'm here to learn. Isn't that funny? I'm here to learn, and you might notice. Go ahead.
I believe we all are, and I do a lot of fasting. I find it always refreshing to do a fast, and the best thing that I find about fasting is that the more energy I exert, the more energy I create. And some people believe that fasting makes you feel weaker. Well, that's only because of the whatever it is, the energy that they're holding on to, grasping onto, the mentality that they're grasping onto. You need to let go of all these things, and you really need to just be in that peace of mind, because when you are relaxed and allow the energy to flow and just, move with the energy, you'll find that there's no confrontation going on. You move and more flows. If you stop moving, then everything stops with you. So energy, by exerting more energy, I'm creating more energy.
Oh, exactly. And one of the other beautiful side effects of fasting, by the way, is your mind clears.
Yes.
Because what happens when your colon, which is attached to certain parts of your colon, correspond to every organ in your body, and when you're bunged up with garbage, you're actually impinging those organs' abilities to do what they're supposed to do. You're interfering with their energy. And I can tell you that every disease will always lead back to one thing, always. Your intestines, your bowels, constipation. If your plumbing is backed up and you've got poisons and garbage sitting on certain parts of your, let's say the part of your intestine that's connected to your kidneys or whatever, you'll start having kidney pains and stones and everything else. Okay? It's a fact. Everything is connected to everything in the body, and every organ vibrates at a different frequency. So it's time to get clean on a very literal and spiritual level in more ways than I can count. And it's not that difficult. It's just about changing your mind and getting out of the habits that we've all been programmed into. So, and again, not letting those habits take control of you.
I barely eat myself. I mean, today I had a bowl of nuts, and just a moment ago I was eating peanut butter myself, and just peanut butter, just straight with a spoon. I have some kind of a thing with nuts where I'm not sure why I enjoy almonds and peanuts and stuff like that, but and I managed to maintain my weight. I'm not a thin woman. I'm not a fat woman. I'm just just my weight, and that's how my body is. Yeah. And it's not because I'm not stressed out and allowing myself to release excess energy, and I'm not holding on to excess energy. I'm just holding on to the energy that my body requires without having to consume more than I need to consume.
Yeah, you're not crutch. That's what it boils down to. How many crutches do we have? What are we leaning on in our lives? And that can be any manner of thing. It doesn't really matter. Are you consciously aware of it? Is it you? Is it consciously you doing it? And I do want to cover the whole idea of walk-ins and how these things occur and the things that they create within us that change our personalities and what have you. I'll touch on it a little bit in terms of we had a bit of a chat about yesterday in the Skype room. Excuse me. Now, when you lower your mental defenses, be it through, I don't care what it is, be it cannabis, be it alcohol, be it whatever, it doesn't matter. Because everything is good and evil. What is the intent, and how strong is your mind to contain it? And some people mention about. I'll use a specific talking about taking LSD and suddenly being confronted by a terrifying entity. You see what you do there when you walk into other dimensions, and I'm going to speak about alcohol a little bit because I watched demons in my mother for many years, and I watched them walk in and out of her. And they're nasty little bastards. Because I knew my mom, heart of gold, precious being. Boy, she got some demons in her though, and that was because she was an alcoholic. And when our defenses are down, and we're not mentally holding the line, we have opened up a dimension. And here's one of the laws of the universe: if you step in something else's dimension, they now have the right to step into yours. Let's forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's called responsibility, whether it's your intent or otherwise. If it's not your intent, you better make your intent known. That's one of the reasons why anytime I'm dealing with cannabis or psilocybin or anything of that nature, you have to steel your mind, and you better be damn sure that it's locked tight. I like to term it as something getting a hold of you, and I will never let anything get a hold of me. So I'm going to go have. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Well, and that's a very good point that you make, but there is a distinct difference between an alcoholic and someone who drinks alcohol.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm getting to. It's about the intent and about what is your intent for it. If in the case of like my mom, she would just get hammered to forget things. She was raped by her dad when she was a little girl for many years, and this came out later, of course, at her funeral, no less. But you're absolutely right. It is about the intention, and it is about the strength of mind. Absolutely.
I will meet back out, and you are correct. It is about the intent, and that is the correct way to put it.
Yeah. Again, everything comes back to that one thing: intent. Right? What is your intent? Is it your intent just to I need to run away and hide from this or hide from that? And again, no harm, no foul. This is not passing judgment, guys. I'm just being I'm trying to be the best observer I can be, and to put things out there so that I can get some feedback, so I can get a chance to understand things better myself. And it's not about passing judgments. And if that's the way people feel, then you might want to actually ask who's listening.
We're past that. The show's over, right? So it's just us talking.
Yeah. Well, there's still 20 callers in.
Well, that's good, and it's all love.
It's all love. And that's the thing. My intent will only ever be that. I'm not out to. I'm here to build as much of people up as I can, of the pieces that they can't see in themselves that I see in them. And that's the individual's choice. If there's things that I can say that empower people, then I'm ecstatic. But I'm most certainly not here to tear anyone down. Not a chance. If there's anything, the only thing I'm tearing down here is the illusion, the facade, the house of cards built on sand called Rome, and everything attached to it. The banks, governments, everything.
And that always goes back to ourselves.
Exactly. Full self-responsibility. Anarchy, purest form.
Oh my God! Thank you very much.
Well, here the U.S. got close though. They got all the way to a republic. The next step was anarchy.
Well, we're gonna take care of that directly.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's happening loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, just look within yourselves and be right with yourselves. Take all the information that Kate's given you, and a lot of other good people. And get right with yourself, because as this opens up, it's going to be a new day dawning, and that goes back to the fifth dimension, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing: not only are you going to need to be able to depend on yourself, there's going to be others out there that are going to need your shoulder to lean on for a little while. And many of us are beaten down to the ground, but I'll tell you, I'm good for at least 1,000 souls around me to pick up and hold on to. And
me too.
Yeah, and I'll take care of the 200,000 sleepers. No problem.
I have no problem either, because this is happening right now. I want everybody to know this is happening. So put all your energies good. Don't matter what you think you know or you should know. I don't know half of what I need to know, and every day is a new beginning. But this is starting up real time right now.
Yeah, absolutely. This house of jokes is coming down, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Building a new universe here.
And when we need all of you lovely people, because we're all in this together, and none of us knows more than the other, and when all this transpires and the knowledge comes forward, we'll all go, oh shit, I got it wrong too.
And that's the thing. Look at the collective knowledge we have, though. Look at the countless centuries of time involved in one show. When we have this afternoon, we had almost 20,000 tuned in, and you think of 20,000 lifetimes. Okay? That's a lot of knowledge, boys and girls. And that's the collective that I speak of. That's the tapping of the universal source that we have available to each and every one of ourselves. And this is what we do here. We bring these beautiful maple trees so that we can all tap them together. And that's what we're doing. We're just tapping them, getting the energies right. And yeah, Stephen, you got to get right with yourself. There are people that are going to need you. And you're far stronger than you think, because watch, you'll see. And it's a beautiful day dawning. We've been through our hell. Now we create our own Helios, sun. You are the sun god, not the one in the sky,
and not the one from Babylon, and not the one from any other generation. We are the sun, and we are the light, and we know the truth, and all deception will be thrown away. And it's coming really quick, guys, so just hang on.
And you just inspired me there. I'm going to play a song for you guys. I wrote this for Sue and my daughters. I was having one of the shittiest days of my life, and this is what I came up with, because I will not fall down as a result. So this one today, and for everyone that listens to this in the archive and whatever, this one's for you. I wrote this just for you, because you're me. You matter that much.
Ever woke up when it just can't get much better? Feel the sun on your face even when it's rainy weather. When nothing matters, just as long as we're together. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. I can't remember ever feeling like I'm feeling. Hitting the clouds all day got me flying, got me reeling. And there ain't no way my heart can't be concealing. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. And I find just a little bit more and more each day. Another reason that'll settle in. I know I found my way. All I had to do was look far enough to see. You're the sun to me. And I got my reasons. They won't need explaining. Why I smile all day, even though it's always raining. 'Cause you're the one thing that is constant and sustaining. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. And I find just a little bit more and more each day. Another reason that'll settle in. I know I found my way. All I had to do was look far enough to see. You're the sun to me. And I find just a little bit more and more each day. Another reason that'll settle in. I know I found my way. All I had to do was look far enough to see. You're the sun to me. Ever woke up when it just can't get much better?
Just for you. Told you I was right.
Wow. I almost scrambled to the dining room to grab my harmonica.
Yeah. Yeah, you and me are going to hang out and jam sometime, my friend.
Oh, man, we're going to sit on the porch and kick back and just enjoy it.
Yeah, one of these nights, coming very shortly, I actually worked through Same Old Lang Syne today. I think I finally got a handle on it, and where I'm happy enough with it, but not tonight. But certainly soon. And I actually want to put a couple more together before I pull them out, because I don't want to leave it with just one, right?
Oh, by the way, my wife plays the spoons.
Oh, excellent. That's it's actually a talent, boy. I mean.
Oh yeah.
Not...
you know, she had some people come in. She works part time at a restaurant cooking.
Okay.
And she had some people come in that put on these little concerts for people. And she plays the spoons, but she plays wooden spoons.
Oh, right on.
And the tone was just incredible. Susan came home and told me about it, and it was just incredible tone coming out of that wood.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I open up area code 805. I open up your phone line, so nice puppies. How are you doing?
I am so sorry. As soon as it opens up, the dog barks.
It's okay.
I just wanted to tell you real quick, Kate. Just as you said you were going to play the song, and it was just for you, for everyone listening, the wind kicked up. I'm sitting outside. The wind kicked up, and a hawk flew through my yard, crying 9 times. I counted it.
Nice.
It was so beautiful and magical moment, and that song is so incredible. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. You guys are all the reason I ever needed to write anything. So, and I got to tell you, this is one of the things for me as I move through this game that I've noticed more and more. Every one of the songs that I've ever written, of course, they always have a certain specific beginning. You know, there is a creation that occurs with it. But as time goes on, the meanings of the songs transform to where that song, listening to it, I haven't listened to it in a very long time. Today, listening to the words, just how differently and how incredibly prophetic they actually were when I wrote that song. And how fitting they are in these moments that we're actually all traveling through. I think that's the bewildering thing for me. I always go back to my signature song, Feel the Broken Dreams, and what those words were. I wrote that back in 1994. That song is almost 20 years old. And, you know, sitting at the coffee table in my apartment when I wrote that, I wrote it as a poem. I remember sitting down writing it. I remember a few of my songs. This one I remember vividly. And I was sitting at the coffee table, and I sat down to specifically write a poem. I said, you know, I write songs all the time. I just want to write a poem. So I sat down, and that one just kind of fell right out of my face. And it only took me a couple of hours, and I'm you know, getting all fidgety and whatnot. And I said, damn it. Went and grabbed my guitar, and what you hear being played is exactly what I played when because everything just that's the thing. That's why I cannot claim to be a writer. I'm a catcher, and these things, they just drop into my universe because I'm open to it, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it's amazing though when I listen to the lyrics of it now and just how incredibly much more meaningful they are, and how much deeper the layers that are contained within them that I would never have seen 20 years ago that I see now, and it's beautiful. And I see how it reflects everyone, back to me. And that one is a very difficult one. There are no words for it, really. I find myself more and more these days putting things into comprehensible words, so thus I will actually have to go on to a little bit of a diatribe to get the full concept out. I just find the whole language thing so belaboring where the songs just say it as it is, you know.
Can I interject something?
Absolutely, Steve.
Does anybody hear the Morse code in the background?
Yeah, a little bit.
About 6 weeks ago, I started receiving that in my right ear. It's the same tone.
Neat.
And so.
What tone is that, Steve?
It's kind of strange because
it's a high-pitched, almost like Morse code.
Yeah, it's like Morse code,
yeah.
But it's only in my right ear. My left ear has an oscillating frequency that goes on in it. So
that's so
I don't know.
Interesting you'd say that, Steve, because I've had that for a few years, and I've heard other people say the same thing. And I will have that high pitch in my right ear. And I have a message to go to the beach.
Oh.
I live just a mile from the beach. I will go over to the beach. I will pull in, and as soon as I look at the ocean, there's always dolphins jumping right where I park.
Oh, very
and
cool.
I always thought it was like the dolphin signals to come. But, I mean, it's happened other times, too. But I think many, many of us have that high-pitch sound in our right ear.
Well, my wife, Susan, has had this high pitch for several years. Now, she thinks that most of what I believe and what I tell her and what I know, she thinks I'm half crazy most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've had that, too, from my family.
She's had this pitch for many years. And about 7-8 months ago, I had a high-frequency oscillating pitch started in my left ear. And it wasn't in my right, just my left. And about 8 weeks ago, that what you're hearing in the background is exactly what started in my left ear about 8 weeks ago. And she said, "Well, it's okay, Steve. Just listen. You know, you're getting older. You'll catch up." But she doesn't believe anything that I believe. You know.
Yeah, there is something with the vibrations and I think with the evolution. And I've heard many people say this also, that they will hear it sounds like a truck idling, like at nighttime. And I have the same thing. And I will say to people, okay, come in my room, lay down right here. Do you hear it? And they don't hear it. And so they do think you're crazy. And so whatever that is, I really believe it's the Kundalini. I think it's the Kundalini energy within our bodies. And it sounds like a truck, outside maybe a block away or something like that, a pretty big truck, and it's just idling. Does that sound like anybody else have that?
Yeah, it does, and the point being is that if it came through in a voice talking to me instead of what I'm hearing in the background here, I'd say, screw you, man, I ain't listening to you. But the crap comes through anyway, and whether you want it or not, it's wonderful.
Exactly. I just want to mention, Aaron, your line is open.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Aaron's on.
Aaron, you there? Better be area code 661.
Is this the lady that wanted to have my contact information?
No, this is. Oh, Aaron or me?
Oh no, Aaron's a gentleman. A-R-O-N.
This is Colleen.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Aaron, are you there?
But I wanted to say,
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, Colleen.
I just wanted to say real quick too. Beautiful, beautiful call tonight. And every time, just when you think that this call is the call last night was the most incredible, then the next call comes, and just incredible. But I really, agree with everything you and Tony were talking about the chemtrails. And I had posted just a little while ago on my Facebook the Martin Luther King quote about I don't have it in front of me, but it was like, I've decided to stay with love because hate is too big of a burden to care. Yes. And with the chemtrails, I started watching them and taking pictures when my daughter was 5 and 6 years old, and she's going to be 17. And I used to drive her crazy. I would go, oh my gosh. She'd say, what, Mommy? I'd say, look at that. And we'd be gone to the beach or we'd be going somewhere. And I can't beat myself up over it. But I did change the whole energy of our day because I connected in with the negativity of these chemtrails. And I took pictures, I called for 10 years. And I finally, one day my daughter, 15, 16, she said, Mom, I don't want to hear it anymore. And I finally
and they went away.
It.
Yeah, from the mouths of babes, right?
Yes. And even though I see it and I still, talk to people about it, there's a different energy within me. It's not that burden anymore. And I am aware of it. Yes, I share information, but it's a different way now. And I love Tony, and I love all the research and everything he's done, and his books are incredible. I recommend everyone downloading those books. But I am to bring beauty into the world, and when I bring beauty into the world, my energy is so high, my health is so strong, and that's my peace.
Yes, you are. Bring it on. We're going to the next stage of the game.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're going to be flying higher than the eagles.
And having those buzzing in our ears.
Exactly. No, I got to tell you, that's one of the reasons why these shows go into the recordings. We kind of milk them right out because I see them as a very powerful tool to maintain, at least for 3 hours. It'll be 5 hours today, though, of maintaining a high frequency and putting it out there. For others to, be able to resonate. You see, this is the thing. I will not claim to teach a damn thing. I'm just reminding you what you already know.
I just wanted to say I love you all before we get cut off.
Oh yeah, well we still got about 21, maybe 22 minutes, and I think.
Okay.
I think what I will do to close it off is I'll maybe time it for a couple of minutes towards the end, and I'll close out the night with a song for a change.
Well, I'm going to mute out now. It's just been an honor to be with you all.
And likewise, hon. This is a shared honor.
I may have to go over to my table and get my harmonica and join in.
Yes, beautiful.
I'm trying to think what I would play that would what key harmonicas you got?
Oh, the one that plays all keys.
Are you playing on a C and D harp are very versatile for.
Yeah, it's a D harper.
D harp, okay.
I believe.
I have to say, Kate, too. When the music started, and I heard you, I was like, "Is that Kate?" Because you sounded more country in this song, and then the hawk comes flying through.
Yeah, see, that was the irony of me being, assigned in Nashville. Is I kind of sat right in that middle groove. It was sort of, I don't know. It's kind of got a pop Celtic rock country flavor to it. It's got a bit of I don't know. It's very neutral. But it fits in that genre. It's very easy to quote. If I sold my songs, I could sell them, right? But no, I didn't sell them, right? I didn't want to. Sorry, I'm not for sale. Neither are my children. Screw off. So again, I can't even really say I can pigeonhole what I do anyway. But there's it's just kind of a comfort groove. It's probably one of the reasons why I love Dan Fogelberg so much, because you could put him on a country station or a rock station or a adult contemporary or whatever, and he'll still fit in. There's many. I won't say many, but there are a lot of artists that fit in that genre. It's probably why I'm attracted to them more than anything else, because they're not pigeonholed. They're carrying their own original thing that kind of crosses all boundaries. And that's the kind of music I really enjoy. And,
you ever do any Seals and Crofts?
I love Seals and Crofts.
Dan Seals broke off and did big on the country charts.
Oh yeah, he did really well. And
I was out there this evening sitting on the porch before I tuned in, and my mockingbirds come up to serenade me.
Nice.
And I always take their song "Hummingbird, Hummingbird," and I always translate it into "Mockingbird, Mockingbird."
Yeah, yeah. Great old songs. Back in the day when the songs really had, grit and merit, and they were life stories. They weren't this schlocky mess for the last 20 years in music here. But can you imagine? 30 years from now, if things went the way they were. The kids that grew up throughout the rap and the hip hop and just this whole techno, again, nothing wrong, that's your thing, but trying to tell your grandkids what you listen to. Well, what was your favorite song? He says, well, I can't remember what it was called, but it sounded sort of like this, and that's all they have, just this throbbing. Ooh, what do we have there? Oh, I wonder what that was. It was a cat chasing something. I hope it wasn't a rabbit it got.
I take my 6- and 5-year-old grandchildren out by the fire at night, and we sit around and say, storytelling time. and they start telling stories, and before long, I don't have to say anything, and Grandma don't have to say anything, and they're telling stories between each other.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, wonderful stories.
Mm-hmm. And that's music in and of itself, you know. And this is what we've been so detracted from, you know, sitting around. See, this is one thing. Like with me growing up, there was always you know, talk time. I refer to it because I'm more musical, but Kaylee time. You know, the kitchen is my favorite place to be, and it is the gathering room. And I used to love sitting down listening to the stories, you know, from my mom and dad and from my grandparents and whatnot, talking of the old days, as they would call them, and some of the stunts my dad used to pull and stuff. You know, really funny and just human things. And look what's happened to us. Look what's happened to us. You know, the kids are busy playing on their Xbox. Imagine that, a life box, draining their lives out, and they're getting, you know, bombarded with garbage on TV, MTV, all this other crap, and what have you, and of course this whole consumerism and all the other stuff that comes with it. And you know, mom and dads nowadays don't, you know, they're too exhausted from work, and they don't want to have, you know, spend the time. It's like they turn on the electronic babysitter called Video Channel, right? And
that's why we're here.
Exactly, we're changing it. And this
well, we've been changing it forever. My wife calls us the lost generation. We're the ones between the 60s and the 80s. We're the ones that figured it out and took control of the situation. We couldn't fix it because it was so conglomerated, but we held our space and held our time, and we held the energies, and now it's coming to pass.
See, and you're living proof.
Hear, hear.
Living proof, and this is exactly what I preach. All you need to do is hold on. Get your frequency up, get your vibe high, maintain, and hold. You have the high ground now.
Again, we're not waiting for anybody to come and rescue us. This is about us rescuing ourselves.
Hi, Tony. Good to hear from you.
Yes.
I wish he'd talk into his mic, Mark. I can barely hear him.
Yeah. You're right, Tony. You're right.
I know he has so much incredible information to share, but I always have to strain my ear to hear him.
But no, we're on the high ground right now, but we're not on the high ground in the normal battle position.
No.
We're in an art battle position, and it's totally different. It's not about violence. I've carried guns my whole life, and there was a gun 10 feet away from me when they tasered me 3 times. If I wanted to cause harm, I'd have popped them both and went to bed. But that's not where we're at anymore.
Not anymore.
So we're on the high ground looking down saying, okay, you stupid idiots, we're going to do this one more time, but this game is over with because we know what's going on.
Exactly. Knowledge is the key. Number 1, you need to know the knowledge. Number 2, you need to have the courage and strength to yield it.
Yes.
We all have the courage. Yes. Go ahead, Colleen.
Oh, I was just going to say that's it. It's about knowing what's going on, but then being able to unplug from it, not letting it suck our vital life force in the negativity of it. At least I'm speaking for myself, because, you know, I studied many years with Michael Tessarian and Jordan Maxwell and all of them, you know, and that whole thing, and it really can swallow you up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes.
Because you not only have to understand the information, but then you have to turn it inside and understand who the hell you are.
Yes.
Bingo. We have another caller in here. We got. I'm going to try again for area code 661, which I believe is Aaron. We also have area code 719. We got about 13 minutes left here.
Yeah, hi, good night, good evening, Kate, and Tony, and Steve, and Colleen. What a blessing it is to be with you. Colleen, you just told my story there, kind of tattletaled on me about that part that you shared about, you know, filming the chemtrails from 10 years ago and tormenting your children. I went through the same thing, but... Kate, you have to let me know if I'm causing a problem with the speaker, because I'm on a cell phone with an over the visor kind of deal.
Oh, you sound great. Don't worry.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know this has been such an evening of synchronicity, and I spoke to you, I don't know, it's been like maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago, just as we were closing out the show, and we were talking about kind of the idea about different people showing up, and it's like this composite of different people that you know showing up in your life in somebody else, and here it is again this evening, and right before, well, when I came in and started hearing you, there have just been so many synchronicities this evening listening to you. Right before I came on to listen to you, I was on a phone call with somebody else, and I had said something, and that person said, bam, and it was just this agreement thing of like, aha kind of a thing, like bam. And I said bam, bam back to him, and then I come on, and it was somebody on the call, I don't know if it was Steve or who, said bam, and just, it's just been amazing. And right before you decided to sing a song, I don't know what you called it, You or Me, or You Are the Sun, or whatever it was, I was thinking of telling you that you are shining with the strength of 1,000 suns. You might only be on 200 calories, but there is a great light and a great joy and a great beauty that's coming through this call, and it, about 2 weeks ago, I had a dream experience where I had a visitation, and something in that dream happened, and it was bam. It was like I went through like some kind of a force field or something, and just through a number of synchronicities that have happened since that time, my frequencies have just been getting higher and higher and higher every day, and just these gifts from the universe have been coming with. And I know that that's where you're at. I heard you last week, and then I heard you last night, and you've talked about what you're going through, and your attitude about money and skin and all these different things, and have caused me to think at such a deep level, and in I may not be where you are in the way of describing it, but I'm going through that same process of I don't know, unraveling, I guess, is the only word I can think of that really describes, this review. And when Colleen spoke, and she brought up the thing about, I don't know, now I can't remember what it was, Colleen, that you said at first, but anyway, it reminded me of a story that I read recently by a man who has this universal Tao healing school, and Michael Wynn or something like that, and that was it. It was about the breatharian. You were talking about being a breatharian, and that's what his article talked about. And after 9/11, he went to China, and he went to this cave, and he renamed it. Maybe you know about what I'm talking about, Colleen. Anyway, he was at this spring that he called Jade Spring, and he had changed the names of what things were so that, they could be protected for the sacredness of those areas over there. But anyway, he called it Jade Spring and Flower Mountain. And again, it made me think of you, and I had written, as soon as I started reading that article, the inspiration came, like you were talking about when these songs and poems come to you, and I wrote this kind of like a poem, and I was going to read it to you. I had it earlier, and now I can't find it, but at some point I'll come back and I'll share it as a dedication to you, because it was all about this place that he described that they talk about in the Tao of the sacred place of being at home where you've chosen to be poor and hungry and alone. And so whether it's on the air or off the air, at some point I would like to just share that with you, because it'd be a really beautiful tribute to you, Kate, for what you're going through. And I agree with you. It's just, there's a beauty in being in the place that you're in, and I honor you for that space that you are holding, and for that light, and for shining with the strength of 1,000 suns. And Steve, thank you for coming on and sharing with all of us about what is taking place in real time with regards to things that are about to happen and be revealed. And may you both be protected, all of you, Tony, Santos, Steve, Carol, Kate, all of you. Blessings, my friend.
All of us.
God bless.
That's your mirror. That's your mirror, baby.
I've really enjoyed the camaraderie back and forth, Kate, between you and Steve, as you've just been talking about, the culture and the music and, the home place and the grandchildren.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful place, and maybe this might be another moment to share the fact that it was that place that I got ripped from to do this. And I just want to go home. And that's where my home is. I know we're there. I had a job to do.
We're home. We're all sharing it together.
Absolutely. I had a job to do, and I did it, and will continue to do it. I've said it to my last breath to make sure that we get everybody home.
Yes. And we will be home. We will be home if we stay in our hearts.
Oh, we're already there, and you see, one of the joys of this, and this is why I love being a neutral observer, because when I listen to you may be directing at me, but what's happening with me is I'm seeing this 1,000-sun mirror shining from each and every one that I'm talking to right now.
Yeah.
As you are.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell the caller. What is your name?
Colleen.
No, not Colleen. The other lady just was speaking.
This is Mim.
Oh.
Mim. That's what I was going to tell Mim, because she's talking about the shining like 1,000 suns. And I was going to say, well, she is too. We all are. We wouldn't be on here together if we're not all shining that 1,000 sun. And Kate, that really sunk into me when you said about we are the sun, and not to and no one greater than.
Thou shalt have no other gods before thee.
Yes.
Some cool cat
me.
to, kind of reinforce that. And I'm good with that. It works for me. And we do have one other caller. We got about 5-6 minutes here, so we'll have a quick chime in from area code 401.
Hi, Kay. It's Gloria again.
Yeah.
I've been going through boxes and boxes of paper, and I'm sitting here just weeding through, and I came across, my daughter, how strong she is and the hell she went through. But if you all, would you just listen to this letter that she wrote, and she testified against a guardian ad litem that wanted to become family court judge, and he did not make it because of my daughter. And she was only 16 when she wrote this.
Sure.
And she
how to take down one of the idiots, please.
Oh, you have to hear this. It's just like, and she just got up and said, "Okay, Mom, I'm done," and walked out of the state house. I'm like, huh?
Okay, Gloria, we got like 4 minutes here, so let's get on her, baby.
Can I? Oh, okay. It says, I'm here tonight to meet the man who caused the damages in our family and has now made trust in relationships nearly impossible now for me and my brother. I understand that Mr. Kerry Raffinelli is the attorney who defended my father, even as he abused and harmed my mother, my brother, and me. I didn't start out hating anybody or being freaked out by normal things or believe that the only way to cope in life was to do by lying and everything and everybody. You have no idea what it's like to be told that you have to be forced into something so hurtful and so wrong and really unhealthy for you, or else you'd lose your mother and be sent to live with your abuser or shipped to some institution in Texas if I do not go along with all the lies. Mr. Raffinelli does not know what it's like for me to watch my brother burst into rages that he did not understand, or see him fight off feelings he could not control, or he was powerless to stop my father from hurting me and my mom. Jay lashed out at things at the house, most likely from wanting to crush apart the courtroom, had been given a chance to do so. He and I were not fully aware until we were free of it as to how much power the attorneys have to get their lies told to the judges in the courts about things, or to bully our mother into doing things that were hurtful to us. when all she was really trying to do was help us. We couldn't figure out why she made us go into the meetings with Dr. Kossoff and Dr. Lubner when Jay and Miles to talk to. And we had Jay Miles to talk to already and Lynn. And that is where all of our trust and privacy had been. Mr. Raffinelli had no idea how badly he traumatized my mother and made her afraid for her own life, for my life, and for Jay's life. Or for Jay went through a very dark period of silence and risk of suicide, which made us all so worried. We were so alone in our family because we knew why he was upset, and we also knew the court could not listen to us or help us. Likely had we told about it, Mr. Raffinelli would have had DCYF come and take us away and injure us further instead of finding out what really had to heal us. My brother and I are very dependent on my mom, who has now no help and rents a small place for the three of us to be together as she tries to give us a chance to rebuild our lives. I'm a young person. I'm supposed to be resilient, only I have no idea how to start my life or clean up the mess that Mr. Raffinelli caused, and ending my life as I knew it prior to all this litigation. I have lost my high school years and will return to South Kingstown High School in the fall to finish 12th grade because I cannot cope with it. My mother told you about my hospitalization at Bradley when I was 14. Well, just this past February, I had another nervous breakdown and was sent to Butler Hospital.
Gloria, I don't want to cut you short, hon. We've got some healing to do. We got like a little over a minute. I'm going to close this off with a power energy for you. We all stand on common ground.
He got kicked to the curb. He never got it.
Perfect. That's all I needed to hear, hon. It's beautiful that he did.